Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science DC Comics podcast. I believe this is episode 638, I think, unless I relabeled and messed up before. I'm looking at the lineup here, and I am here to start things off with my man, Matt. What up, Matt?
Oh, what up, Jim?
What is up is not many books. We have, I think, 3 books on the show. Me and you are going to talk about Superman, then actually 4, because Fear Monarch, Ryan, I'd like to say, and Gray, they will be doing that Vertigo book that I'm telling you, I can never remember any of the books' names. It's that one by Chris Condon that has a name that's like the longest name ever. And I'm telling you, there's no way I'll ever remember. The Peril of the Brutal Dark and Ezra Cain
That's
mystery.
what it's called?
That's what it is. Yeah, even that. Like, it's at issue 3, and you didn't even know that's what it was called.
No, and I hear Gray and Fear Monarch talk about it, but in one ear and out the other.
Just like when my wife talks. I hear it's really good. I don't know what they said. They sent me the file, so I do know that it's in the can, as they say, kind of sexy. But with all of that, and while I'm doing this, I'm looking at the comic book roundup to see what the name of it was. And on the side, I'm getting a Savannah Banana ad going on, and it just makes me want to go get a Blizzard because they have a Savannah Banana Blizzard. But I will tell you, after this is done, I've been told I do have to go get us Blizzards, me and Tanya.
Really?
So, yeah, because I think it's like the last couple of days, let's buy a Blizzard and get one for 99 cents. And she was bitching and moaning that we didn't have any freaking... She's like, why don't we have more snacks around here? I said, I'll tell you why, because then we eat them.
Yeah.
That's why I just don't like to have them around. My snack lately has been a glass of milk. What I told her.
Well, Tanya's mules, her actual mules are snacks a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true. Right now,
what is she on now?
Right now, it is a, she likes bagels right now, but it's specific and it's kind of disgusting.
Like a French toast bagel?
Yeah. Where she then gets butter. And I'll tell you, I don't get a huge container of butter. Mm-hmm. I get like this little, I don't know what ounce it is, but I get it at Aldi. And it's like butter with canola oil in it, something like that. One of these things will last me a month. It lasts 3 days. I have to get like 3 of them a week for her. And then every time I go to have a baked potato, I put a little butter on, like, there's none left. And I get so angry and also then she melts the butter and then just pours it on this bagel, then puts grape jelly on it. I'm like, that's disgusting. That is I'm telling you, anybody out there who's ever had French toast with
the
grape
French
jelly?
Toast with the grape jelly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Just a plain bagel.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I get
that's
mad.
Wild.
Yeah, that's it too. And she ends up because she pours the butter, when she's done, the plate itself, like there's like hardened butter all over the plate. And then Mia gets to it and gets diarrhea. She licks the plate. Oh, God. And then I don't know why she has this diarrhea. Mia goes in the trash and you see she just goes in and grabs plates and puts them out and licks them. I'm like, there's 5 plates here. They're all yours. Yeah. French toast with grape jelly and only squeezable jelly. She won't, she
doesn't like to spread it on there?
No, she doesn't like to spread it on. I said, oh, I get it. It's because I talked to Zach about this at one point. And I said, like, oh, because she like the convenience. I put it right, the deal. She goes, no, I like the squeezable one because then I know nobody's messed with the jelly. So what do you think I'm doing with this jelly? I think it's like this honey I got. That's what I think.
Sus.
Yeah, she doesn't think I'm poison. She thinks that I'm doing sexy. What does she think? I don't know. I said, it's not. I made a joke and I said, oh, well, it's not the mayonnaise. Now she won't eat the mayonnaise. Also, when I make something, my biggest joke for her is at the last second. I wait till she eats like a bite. And then I go, oh, I forgot to tell you, I put in a special ingredient. And she spits out what she's eating every time. Like, she thinks that this it all must come down to bodily fluids. Like, why would I do that?
She's just so repulsed by you.
Usually the special ingredient is, I read that a little wasabi and something like that. It'll really perk it up. And no, she spits the shit out.
She goes right to ejaculation. That's what she goes to.
If she's eating something, she'll go, this is so good. Where did you get the recipe? And I'll say, oh, I just made it up. She doesn't like that either. But you already tasted it and liked it. I don't get it. It's like the kids. They don't trust me.
Yeah, they think you're dirty, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. That's what Logan says. Logan's there. I said to Logan, I was like, when are you going to get a girlfriend? And the whole room erupted in laughter. So I don't know. He doesn't talk to anybody.
Poor
he just
guy.
sits there. And he's watching, we were watching the NFL draft. And he's just sitting there. And I said to Logan, like, well, who are you? Like, he claimed at one point that he liked the Eagles. I don't know that he knows anything about it. He never says anything. And I said, well, who are you looking for? Like, are you rooting for anybody? He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to bed. And then he went to bed. I hardly saw him. Me and Rafe had fun, though. Rafe was busy throwing shade at everybody messaging because of things that he told him, all these guys from his work. He's doing that. Well, his other friend Jackson was there, who was just talking about how he was on Tinder and all these women were like giving him the thumbs down or whatever. And the guy's a wreck. You should see.
Yeah, he's the one that has problems, right? He was
no, Cody has problems.
Oh,
Cody was watching. This guy's big, but we were watching the draft. He was funny. Jackson's like this weird guy who's just sitting there, and the things that he's like, and then Rafe would say, like, what did you say? And he's like, all I did was tell her I want to lick her like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, weird shit. And he's like, it doesn't work. I don't know why. Also, he just looks weird. Plus, also, that guy always has weird stories, too. He didn't talk. The last story it was that his mom disappeared. He went to work. His house burnt down. When he went home, he found that out. Didn't know where his mom was to get a hold of her, and like 5 animals died. It's like the worst story ever. Like this guy. And when the guy tells the story, he's like, yeah, I went home and my house was burnt down. And you're waiting for something. Like, is this a joke? And yeah, my 3 dogs and 2 cats were dead.
He's just matter of fact about it.
It's just, yeah. You know? I'm just like,
you don't
really?
know if he's joking or not.
And then I'm like, where was your mom? She went to Vegas with some dude. I'm like, this is weird. His mom they won the lottery at one point, but it was like 1.2 million. And here's him telling the story. We won the lottery. It was like 1.2 million. In like 3 months, we owed $300,000. His mom spent it all. In like 3 months, it was gone. I said, yeah, I know how that is in this house. Tanya got hair extensions yesterday.
Really?
You tell me if this is something. Yeah, she goes, I'm going to go get my hair done. That's all she said, right? She leaves at 12. At 7 that night, I'm like, are you okay? I ended up and I had to do the Sus Records dance party. I'm like, are you alive? Are you there? And then she got mad at me. She's like, oh, why do you have to check? I'm like, and then she came home with these extensions. And then as I'm doing the dance party, I see this bloop, and I see our card get charged $450.
I was going to say they're very expensive.
Yeah,
and hard to maintain, too.
I was very angry. That's what I was. Because at one point she said, I don't think I'm going to get my hair done. It's going to cost like $100 because it's this fancy salon. And I was like, you don't do much. Like, if that makes you feel great, whatever. $450. I'm like, I didn't agree to that.
How's it look?
It looks okay. Looks like an old lady going through a fucking midlife crisis. Is what it looks like. And she's like, no, I want to get the sleeve tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. All right there, Snooky. I was so mad about that money. But then she got upset. And then she had this cap on. She has to like wear this silk cap.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
When she sleeps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, it has to be there. It gets tangled up. I'm like, this shit's going to go wrong. I said, what do you do to take a shower? So I don't know. I didn't even listen then. I was seeing red. But it actually, the guy did a good job. Like, I can tell it's what it is because, I know her, but I wouldn't have been able to tell. It's just, it's the idea though. It's like, get these extensions or wait like a year. Your hair grows in. She got that.
Women can spot those extensions a mile away, though. You might not be able to.
No, I'm the worst. Like I said, man, there's a lot of like ladies, but I'm not being racist, but a lot of black ladies have these, and I can't tell.
No.
I end up saying like, oh man, that hair's crazy. That's extensions. I'm like, really? Looks real to me. I don't know. I can't tell. Though when a guy gets bad plugs, then I can tell. I think I could tell with the dudes, not the ladies. But there you go. That's the intro at the beginning. But here we are. We have a hell of a show ahead. We have 3 books. As I said, Superman, Green Lantern, and Detective Comics. Of those, I like 1. People will probably be able to guess. That'll be the one me and you are doing. But before we get to that, I want to give a shout out to everybody on the Patreon. If you want to get more shows, especially our weekly bonus show where you get 2 books picked by the badasses. They got First Crew. They ended up picking Flash. And what was it we did? Justice League. Unlimited. Me and Matt did that, and me and Brad did Flash. So you can go get that. That's going to be close to 2 hours, probably longer than the show, maybe a little bit. Maybe the show will be a little bit because we're yicking and yakking. Also, if you are wondering and saying, hey, where's the big book, Spider-Man, Superman, that crossover, that is going to be on our Marvel podcast with me and Matt. If you've never listened to that, you can find it by just looking up Weird Science Marvel Comics, wherever you get the podcast, and you can listen to me and Matt yap about that one. But with all that, let's get to the badass roll call. At least now we have some sound. I was pretty good last week. You were right. I was almost on with the amount of time that we took when we couldn't do the thing with the sound effects and stuff like that. I got pretty close, but now we can see them. And also, these people were yelling at me like it was our fault. Well, I said that I do these things. They're like, are you sure you pressed the button?
Well, what was wrong with it? Did you find out?
I don't know. They never say. They what they do is they never admit anything was wrong, because then I'm going to demand some free months or something. Yep. So all of a sudden, in my email just pops up all of these files of the soundboard. That's all they did. And nothing. Not even the next, we figured it out. No, nothing. I just got an email with a bunch of soundtrack files. But at that point, I had already edited the DC show, so kind of screwed that. But we have it back. So here we go. Here is the badass roll call. And I don't have it up. I will get it. Joe Anello, TJ Freeling, Andrew in Belfast, Eric Loves You, Don't Mention It, David Fink, Jack Halsey, Brandon with an O, Nick Russ, Trevitt, Tom Johnson, Dan Smith, the Big Z, the Mark Claire Show, the Annihilator, Ted Probst. I got to settle down. We're going to have a lot of time at the end with this music. I love Punchline, Stork. Where's Stork? I would say that's Stork here.
The guy is drunk.
There we go.
He's drinking sake.
Yeah. We have a Matt Razor, Dr. Matt. See, I can't hit that. Do I have the guys doing edibles?
The guy is drunk.
You sent me a picture of those edibles. They look just like those things.
Spicy gummies.
I was eating spicy gummies, and you're doing edibles. Niels, T-Word, Jason Colby, Sue 42 to you and me. Ken Halleck, Come From Rocky, Ruben, 2 Wolfmark, Matthew Rapier, Simon.
And I'm going to jerk myself off the entire time.
That's every time. Luis, Manship, Swanee, Josh Million, Batman Beyond Mark, Brandon, that's with an E's up in Canada, Buffalo, Canada, Double Aaron, doxing his ass in Minnesota. Perfecto. And, this happened the last time. God darn it, this thing. They never have anything right.
There's got to be something wrong. My favorite is when Jason hits the sound effects on the X-Men podcast, and he gets so mad. He gets so mad. I love it.
I think he thinks that I'm doing it. The other day, I went to check if they fixed the soundboard. I almost entered their show. They were doing it.
Really? When they were recording?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great.
The problem is it wouldn't let me because we have the same username. But I would have been there. Probably would have cursed them out and left. But in the meantime, we have the all-time great Rob Lewis and Reginald Drinkwater. So that is it. We're going to go right to the show right now while I try to drink something and not cough my brains out. Hopefully by the end of the song, I won't be coughing. But we're going to go off for me and you to talk about Superman.
Blue skies over Metropolis, and no signs of any don't know why I believe I can fly. It's just that kind of day. Up, up and away. Up, up and away. There's nothing much more to say except up and away. Maybe we shouldn't fight, but you're my only kryptonite. And sometimes I feel like I might cry, 'cause we're headed for doomsday. Up, up and away. Up, up and away. There's nothing much more to say except up, up and away.
Ah, yes, there we go. And that song, the first half is from the Dan Slott Superman Unlimited. But the second half I added on. That seems to be very telling. I think I was looking into the future. It mentions, it's so stupid. But at least it wasn't like the KO song. That was completely wrong by the time we got done. But here we are to talk about, I think it's a pretty good book. And it's been a pretty good book. I think that the Superboy Prime is fun.
Yes.
And it makes me laugh because people like who have been reading comics most of their lives hate Superboy Prime so much and don't want him to be redeemed, don't want him to be anything. And it seems like he is being redeemed. And the funny thing about that is in this issue, we see Damian Wayne. He goes to talk to Damian because Damian, a lot of people didn't like him and he kind of got redeemed. And Joshua Williamson did a big part of that as well. So I think that it just dawned on me in this issue of, oh, they got Joshua Williamson has Superboy Prime in this book because he is good at redeeming these type of characters. Now, with Damian, it started in my mind with Tomasi, then went to Joshua Williamson, and then Philip Kennedy Johnson. The three of them did a really good job with Damian, but I love Damian. He's my second favorite Robin. I know a lot of people hate him, but it was kind of funny that Superboy Prime goes to talk to him, and then as Damian's trying to tell him, you know, what you have to do or whatever, he just zips off. It made me laugh that he just leaves him in the dust. But you see that Superboy Prime in this, he just wants to be trusted, but you get it that people aren't going to trust him. So it's kind of fun. Though I do think at one point I did not love the way that Martha Kent was acting like a real bitch at one point. But we'll talk about that in a second because we'll start out and I will give you the credits first. And then we'll jump into it. But it's written by, and it is Superman number 37. Written by Joshua Williamson, art and cover by Dan Moore. It looks great. Alejandro Sanchez colors, letters by Ariana Mayer. And you have assistant editor Jillian Grant, editor Paul Kaminsky. And you start off, and it's like kind of like, hey, what has Superboy Prime been up to? And he's just doing some random stuff, really. He's just kind of going around at one point. He's going to land on Themyscira. You'd make fun of the way that some people call it different things.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
And then he's like, anyway, I thought of a joke like Steve Trevor could get on Themyscira, so could I. And it's funny because he's telling the story and Mom and Pop Ken are loving it. They're laughing it up. And he's like, you know, the Amazons were not fans of that. It was like, is that a bird? No, it's a Superboy flying away as fast as he can. But that's a story for another day. And they're laughing. But as they go on, it is funny because Superboy Prime, he does not know, you know, he can't read the room.
He goes a little over the top with
it is a lot
the
of
different realities of what happens to them.
And also, when he says basically, hey, you know what? I thought that you being dead is what, and they're not liking it. But he's just joking. He's just saying that.
He said that Mark Waid wants him dead.
It was one of the better editor's notes because, he's like, hey, seriously, though, thanks for having me over for breakfast. All I've been eating is junk food. And I got to say, I'm glad you two are alive. And they're like, what? What's he saying? Like, they're laughing it up. Like, they're loving his stories. And then he says that, and he goes, yeah, some fans, like, rather have both you dead. Some just want, Jonathan, you have a heart attack. And it's like, damn, Mark Waid wants you completely dead. He hates that you're alive. And then the editors notice, this is true for Mark Waid. It made me laugh. Like, that might be the best editor's note ever, at least in the last bunch of years. It's hilarious. But they don't want to hear this. But he's saying it as like a comic book fan, that it doesn't really mean anything, but he's there with them. And that's when they go and they're like, hey, give us a second Prime. And he's like, hey, call me CK. That's what they're going to call him. And then he goes, and then Martha's like, he's going to eat us out of the house and home.
He's pounding the food, too. I like that. She's making a bunch of rice and stuff for him. And
which is an odd breakfast
rice and beans.
Because he says, thanks for the breakfast. Rice and
that's
beans?
More of a dinner.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, he's got rice and beans. I guess they're just like everything they have left.
50 plates that and he's eating a piece of steak, too.
Yeah, he's got that steak. Yeah, they're like, Jesus Christ. But again, I would never think Martha ever saying that, even if it's true. Right? Because she said, he's going to eat us out of the house and home. Jonathan goes, that's what you're worried about. Almost like there's worse. And he goes, don't worry. I'm not going to do anything. They seem to know his background as well. So they know what he's done. But usually the Kents are the ones. And at the end, you do get Martha kind of explaining things because they kind of get him then. But he goes, I can't do anything because of them. Like them? Yeah, them. And you look up and there is a Justice League envoy that's just hovering over the house.
They're still pushing that flaming werewolf guy that nobody knows his name.
Nobody cares. I'm just looking at Simon Baz. Like, the guy's eating breakfast. Simon Baz is in full attack mode. Right? Yep. And it looks like it's a color form from the end of some comic where they're like, let's go. And he's like, it seems weird.
Yeah,
like the rest are hovering. And he's like ready. He's ready to go. And
I do like the Power Girl shot angle they keep showing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if you ever did read that Mad Magazine deal with
the new one.
The deal, that they had a Power Girl thing. It was pretty fun.
I liked it. Yeah,
it was pretty good.
I skipped a couple things, but I thought some of them were good. The Absolute stuff was great.
Yeah, that was good. So he's like, they're surrounded. They don't trust me. And you even say, you have Power Girl like, he's a monster when Mr. Terrific was talking about it. And he's like, I could fight them and all and show them what primetime's really about, but I don't want to do that. He's like, I don't want to mess up. I want to prove that I'm good. And he is sad. He ends up at points, I just need somebody to talk to and want to hang out. And I can't because nobody trusts me. And that's where Jonathan, like Martha says, Jonathan, can you talk to him? And he says, CK, to have a seat. And said, our Clark had some hard times too. It wasn't always easy for him. And like, tell us what happened. He goes, well, because he said, I've been trying to be good, but I just can't seem to do it right. But the best thing, and already it's good. When you go, and I'll tell you, I'll eat crow on this one, because his job at the comic book store, I told you last time that this one might make more sense. I hate the jobs because usually on the jobs, it's just, I always bring up Jessica Cruz, where you got to get a job to get out. She's like a waitress at a diner. We saw it one time, and how can you be a waitress at a diner when you're a Green Lantern? She goes off. But this is good. And you end up...
This is really a good idea.
And also, maybe the best scene of the year so far. It makes me laugh so much because he is so oblivious. Again, he almost plays up because of what he is. I know that this triggers people, but he almost has like an autism type deal where he doesn't read people right or their emotions or anything. He's so naive that this girl just wants him.
She wants to bang.
Oh, my God.
He's like, I got all the comics here. I don't need your collection.
It's so great because he's talking like, hey, it's great. I see you on Wednesdays. You have the whole thing. It's Wednesday morning. It's like, oh, man, I've been checking out all these comics. Like, what's good to read and whatnot? And she's like, oh, man, it's good. And she said she must have come in before and said, why don't you read some indie stuff? Mm-hmm. Don't read just superhero stuff. And he goes, man, I didn't even know that shit was out there. That's great. Thanks a lot. And she goes, if you ever wanted more of that. And she's like, she's doing all the things. She's like moving her hair like that whole thing. You could hang out at my place and borrow some comics. And he looks and he's just like, why would I do that? I got all the comics I need right here. And she's like, she's just kind of like, man, I was hitting on you. Now at the end, what's really good is we go back to her. It's not as, it's not as sexy as we thought it was. But the funny thing is, what she thinks she wants to do, I don't think she's going to be able to do to Superboy Prime anyway. So it's kind of funny. But that's when the owner comes over and is like, I thought the owner was going to say,
love advice.
That girl wants you.
Yeah, but it's not.
Right? No, so he says, listen, you've been great. I love you working here. He's like, it's so much fun. You went and did those back issues. You got everything done. You are passionate, maybe too passionate. And I don't care what anybody says. Most people agree. It's Peter and MJ that he's yelling at this guy about, which I think is funny. Where
they should be married.
Yeah, they should be married. And he is pissed at this guy saying
I think everybody agrees
and I'm
with
telling
that.
you, it'd be so great if you could pull this around and it just is Nick Lowe from Marvel. It'd be hilarious. But you end up, he's like, they should be married. He also has Bring Red Hood's helmet back, shirt on, which is really funny. And he's like, yeah, I'm working on that. But yeah, he freaks out.
He just says you're too passionate, dude. You're
says
crazy.
You're too passionate. You got to, about certain comics. And he's like, you got to back it up again. You could play that it's Lois. And
it's weird because it's kind of like, that remind me of Big Bang Theory, that comic book store they would go to. It was all DC comics. It always freaked me out. I'm like, where's the Marvel and other stuff?
Because of the company
and that's what this
is.
Stuff. But they kind of have like an Iron Man in the background and kind of fudge it a little bit. Funny.
So yeah, you have all the things. You even have like Goku, it looks like at one point too. So it's kind of neat. And and they have the toys and things. I'm waiting for when he gets mad at manga that he's like pushing it to the back or something would be funny. But he's like, I knew I was working on it. And then the guy says, but, and he thinks he's getting fired. He's like, I knew but was coming. He says, hey, you're late every day. You take long breaks. You can't do that. But it's not that he's going to be fired. It's that he is going to be employee of the month if he could just show up on time. And they even show he's there with Mara. She's yelling at him. They have some funny things going on. And he says, I get caught in traffic. He's like, you live 2 blocks away. Again, he can't tell the real deal. But you get it where you even have Transformers there. It's pretty cool
Transformers
as well. So it's really neat. And says, if you want to get employee of the month, you got to be on time tomorrow. Just this one time. Just come in on time tomorrow. And you're employee of the month.
What does that get you again?
The thing is, it's just for him. It'd be funny. He gets a parking spot and he doesn't have a car. But he wants to be able to go back to the Justice League and say, look, I'm doing good.
Yes.
That seems to be the whole thing. And it is. And the funny thing, I think that Joshua Williamson does a great job. It's because it really doesn't mean anything. Like, Eric Shea, he wouldn't want to be employee of the month because that means he's a shill for the man. You'd have like, I want to be Ferris Bueller.
Did they have employee of the month at the Cardboard Box Factory or not?
No.
No.
They might have had it at that movie theater he worked at or the Pizza Hut. I don't know. But neither of them have. He goes around. The movie theater for him was the greatest job because it was like one of those where, I swear to God, when he thinks back at it, he embellishes shit. Of like, the guy only showed up every 2 months and we got to run it ourselves and we had I'm like, get out.
He romanticizes it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. In the meantime, it's a movie theater with 3 theaters, right? 3 movie theaters in it.
A little guy. Yeah.
The one in the middle, they were just throwing their trash in it because they didn't want to pay the trash pickup so they could use that to have their parties. So they weren't really doing great things, and the thing became rat infested.
They were using it as their own personal dumpster, huh?
Yeah. Wow. The middle theater was full of garbage. And again, the garbage in a movie theater is popcorn, all that
sticky
shit,
soda,
just in there. So that whole middle theater
fluids.
was just a garbage dump.
Gross.
And the 2 outside deal. I'm like, real romanticizing bullshit. So he goes, but in the meantime, he flies off and he wants to be employee of the month to show that he could do this. And look, I could be responsible and I'm doing really well. Even though he still is doing well. I was waiting for him to say, can you write a note to Mr. Terrific and say, he's like, what? But he goes off and he's going to Gotham and he goes to Crime Alley and he's like, man, this is crazy being at the spot, as a comic book fan, knowing what happened. And when he gets there, he's like, yeah, it's kind of morbid and gross. And that's where Damian comes in. And Damian comes in like he's going to beat up Superboy Prime somehow. It's like
he has a sword, I guess?
Right? Yeah, he's like smashing it. He's like, you ruined my sword. He's like, no. But he says, why are you here? And Superboy Prime's like, sightseeing? And he says, get out. Damian says, get out. And then goes off. But Superboy Prime wants to be friends with him. He's like, come on, man. I don't have any friends. And you're Damian Wayne. Like, you're an assassin. You killed so many people, but now people love you. I think they're pushing the idea that everybody loves him because a lot of people still hate Damian. I love him. But he's like, everybody loves you now. So what's the deal? How can I redeem myself? And Damian at first says, I don't care about that shit. That's how I got over it. I didn't care. And he goes off, but it's funny at the end. And that's where I thought, man, Joshua Williamson, you know Damian better than that. At the end, he turns it around. Well, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, Superboy Prime also says, like, I don't really know much about you because the comic, you were invented after I became.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
After I returned.
Yeah, so he wants to know, how did you get redeemed? What made it change? And how did you deal with it? And he ends up where Damian's like, I just didn't care. He's like, I just assume everyone hates me and then I don't care. And then he's going to go down the sewer. Superboy Prime says, I can help you. But he's like, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. But he keeps going. Like, I can help because he's tracking. He says, one of Batman's rogues stole deadly chemicals from Star Labs and I tracked them into the tunnels. Superboy Prime says, I can help you. I don't need your help. Now it plays that play of Superman and Batman. That some of the funniest things are when Superman comes in and needs Batman, but Batman's involved in somehow it always seems Clayface is involved in these stories. But I love it when Batman's like, I have all this shit to do, and Superman solves everything in 2 seconds because he's Superman, and then Batman gets pissed. But they end up getting attacked by Clay. It looks awesome.
It looks like a Sandman version of Clayface.
Yeah, it does.
Just
it's like
everywhere.
Almost like an avalanche of just Clayface.
Gross.
And he says, again, Clayface, you could play a lot here. You could have Superboy Prime just kill Clayface because, he's Superboy Prime. But he's not going to do that. And he's trying to help. And even then, Damian keeps hey, you just go, I got to go find this bomb. I got to go find these chemicals. You keep Clayface, company. You distract him. I'll go. But then Superboy Prime says, I can find where these things are. And he finds them. He goes, go there. So, he's like, okay, here I go. And he goes off. And as you're going, Superboy Prime kind of gets distracted. It's kind of weird that he's enveloped in Clayface. They dissipate him a bit. But then all of a sudden, Superman shows up. Now, in the meantime, you really could play up the idea that Superman isn't around. Clayface didn't get the memo. And that's, one of the reasons. But I still think it's also Superboy Prime realizing. But it almost is that is real effed up, right? The idea that Superman's been missing and he's going to pretend to be Superman. But he says, hey there, I took care of things. I took Clayface to Arkham. Pretty cool, right? Hey, high five. And Superboy Prime's like, no way. And he ends up freezing him and then smashing him apart and says, playing with my emotions like that is just rude. And he punches him down. Damian gets to this bomb. They're trying to figure it out. And again, Superboy Prime also gets there. But as he's going to help save things, he kind of sketches out. And we've seen this before. And it's him and his bad stuff and a voice telling him, you didn't change. You're fooling yourself, and the only way out of this is to punch out. And that's when he shattered the universe. That's one of the biggest things. But he wants to go against that. And he kind of seems like he blacks out. He just ends up blacking out and falling down. Damian does watch him to make sure he's okay this whole time. Up on that silo tower. But he's looking down. He's like, hey, you landed and blacked out. I got Clayface done, whatever. It'd be funny if Superboy Prime's like, I know that you, Clayface, and then just kills Damian.
Rips his head off.
He's like, oh, thanks. You risked all that to watch me? And he's like, possibly. So he's like, oh, well, thanks. And then he's like, did we just become friends? And I like Damian. They needed one more line. He goes, I have enough friends. And I wish he just said that in Superboy Prime. Oh, how many? None. And then he goes, but he says, I also have a Superboy already checked off the list. And he's like, oh, you can have more than one. We could be your super friends. And it's nice. But again, Superboy Prime is desperate for somebody to like him. That's what he needs. And the problem will be if they don't start trusting him and him having friends, probably going to go bad again.
Yeah, and I like him good. I like him exactly like this. Yeah.
People were talking in the Slack of and it's too on the nose for him to go bad anyway. We had that play where we thought he went bad in KO, but then he didn't. And I don't even need that anymore. I just want him to be good. Now, if people don't accept it, he might get upset and just leave.
For me, he's the breakout character this year.
Yeah, I think he's great. Yeah. And in these first 2 issues, especially
all
this
comics,
one, he's so nice and fun. It makes me giggle, and also just that he's so
and
powerful.
the meta stuff is cool.
Yeah, that's fun. And
without being annoying.
It's not overdoing it.
It's almost like you could have had Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen could have worked in a comic store.
Spider-Gwen at first was cool.
Yeah, because she
and
knew
then
all
it
the
just
stuff.
went too much. I'm telling you, the first issue, pretty much, she's on a train and sees Miles and goes, "Hey, Miles," and he's like, "What?" And he gets all, and that was fun. And it got too crazy.
And Deadpool's just, I'm just over that.
Yeah, everybody goes too far. I say, you over Harley, or you over Deadpool. You can't do it. But yeah, this is good. And again, what's really smart here, you said it. He said, listen, I don't know much about you. You came after. So he's not in a position right now to say, oh, we do this because I read that. It's past what he knew.
Yes.
And that's smart. You can't have him know everything. He just knows. And some of the things that he knows aren't even true anymore. Like some characters have changed. Some characters are different characters. They're villains instead of heroes. So it's pretty cool. But remember, he said he was in that comic book store. He said, I want to work there because then I can catch up on the shit that I didn't know. But even then, it's better than him knowing it. Like, oh, I'm going to do this because you're going to do that.
It is kind of playing loose with like the fact that everything in the DC universe is cataloged in comics somewhere, which is kind of interesting. But
yeah, I like it. And then when he's like, hey, I got to go because he realizes he's going to be late the one day because he's just.
I know. The guy said, don't be late again. Don't be late.
And then Damian yells, and it is funny. He does it like Superboy Prime hears what they, but it almost feels like, hey, Damian, do you have any advice? And right after all that, he starts telling the advice and he's flying away like he doesn't care. But he says, wait, I lied before when you asked me about my rep. I do care. It took people not judging me by my worst moments, but change wasn't easy. It took time. You just need to keep trying. Now, legit, that's nothing. You know what I mean? That's me saying, hey, Matt, keep doing what you're doing. Like my grandpa, like your grandpa, hey, why don't people like me? How can I get them to like me? Well, just take time. Do good.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, that's, but it's nice that Damian says, hey, I lied. I did care. That's the big part that I like. He's like, I do care what people say. You just got to give it time. They're going to say shit. And again, he should have said, it's just, but change wasn't easy. It took time. You just need to keep trying. He could have went a little bit more, but Superboy Prime's flying away. He goes, thanks. But that's what Superboy Prime's already doing. But again, it pulls in the idea of, oh man, I got to get that Employee of the Month. So then I'm thinking, I guess he's got to go back to his apartment to change. But boy, you can still fly. Why isn't he in the alleyway behind the comic store, right? He's there and now he's got to walk 3 blocks and run. I'm like, I don't know, just get there real quick. But he's late. He gets there late. The guy's there. Yeah, I thought the guy was still going to give it to him. I thought the guy was going to like, oh man, like that 1 minute late deal. Because also, I'll ask you, does this guy, owner, seem like a dick? Doesn't, right? He seems just like a guy. He's just doing it. It's not like the hard nose, like they would have an assistant manager who was like a real jerk and stickler.
It's not the comic book guy
you know what I mean?
Like asshole.
Yeah, this guy seems nice, but it's like he put his foot down. I only think there's like 3 people. I think he gave himself the Employee of the Month. But he's like, you're late again. Also, you don't get that. There should be that other person working with him that you see isn't even that good, but they got Employee of the Month, but he didn't get it. And remember this.
See, I wouldn't mind seeing the Daily Planet, the characters that work in the comic book shop. I think that would be interesting to see that. Get to know them a little bit.
Somebody else won Employee of the Month.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see I wouldn't mind a whole issue of him working in the comic book store talking to people as they come in.
I think there was that one guy. Remember there was a guy when he first went and the guy was having problems backlogging the shit?
Yeah.
And that's our Superboy Prime's like, I'll do it. I guess that guy won.
So that guy could become a superhero.
It would have been cool if that girl, which we find out is Witchfire, like she got a job. But all this is, he's been telling this to Mom and Pa. And then he says they gave it, I had it, but the guy gave it to somebody else. And he says, better luck next time if you don't mess up. And so you have Superboy Prime, and it's cool because Mom and Pa can't know that he's Superboy Prime. So he can say, I saved Gotham, made a new friend, sort of, but I really wanted the Employee of the Month. And it was silly, but that was more important to me. And now I can't even come here to see you without the Justice League watching me like a hawk. You have any idea what that's like. So many people expect you to fail, to know that no matter how hard you try, they only see your mistakes. And that was good. Like, again, he wanted to win the Employee of the Month, just shove it in their face and say, listen, you think I fail at everything? Well, look, but he failed in his mind. And that's where you end up where Martha, who was a kind of a bitch, he's going to eat us out of house and home, making rice and beans for breakfast. And she goes out, wait a minute, and she calls Kara down.
Get down here now.
Also, yeah, I love it too. She goes, Kara, Paige. I'm like, come on. Just go, Kara. I wanted her to say, I ain't going with that Paige. Get down here. And yeah, she gets down and says, listen. And then Kara says, hey, I should have come and said hi. She's like, damn right you should have. Even though it's a weird thing between these two anyway. But it says, I know you mean well. I know you're angry. I know what Prime did. Which is, I'm glad that they know. You know what I mean? That they know everything he did. So it's not just like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But says, you can't teach him to be good if you're always going to expect him to fail. Mm-hmm. You guys are out here waiting for the moment that he fails, and you got to let him try. And again, it's Martha. So she's like, yep, yes, ma'am. Hey, Jack, just like you heard her, return to the watchtower. I want him to go, I don't care what that old lady said. A flaming wolfman. I'm telling you, I'll never know that guy's name.
Starts with a C, and it's Spanish or Portuguese.
I could look it up 8 million times.
Yeah, I'll never remember it either.
And it's like I just don't care. The character is such a non-character.
Caldera, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Caldera as he is. Desjardins. He goes off and
he looks cool.
And then he does. But again, when you saw them there, he kind of does mess up to hang him because of those chains. Like everything's him.
How come he flies? Like, why is flying a thing?
I don't know. And there's like, it doesn't even look, you got like crazy rocket things. I don't know. Look at that guy. I have no idea. El Cardero.
Yeah, I think that might
be.
I don't even know.
But then Martha comes in and says, and Jonathan goes, that's my girl. Also, just saying, in the Spider-Man Superman crossover, there's a point where Martha and Aunt May arm wrestle. And I'm telling you, they both look 800 years old. She looks old here, but if you can't beat an 800-year-old woman like Aunt May, give it up. Like Aunt May goes to arm wrestle and somehow still breaks her hip. It's like a nonsense. But you end up where they get back and then Martha's like, tell me about that girl. Because, she's like, I think that girl might have wanted you. But he's like, oh, she was nice. And then you go and see this girl. And it's funny because when you read it the first time, you're just like, oh, man, she's just a hot girl. Almost like an MJ, but wants CK. But then when she goes back and she's like, oh, man. At first, all I could think of is like, man, she wanted to go back to that shithole? Like, what the hell? Oh, there's a pentagram. I'm like, oh, shit's going down. And goes and says, hey, everybody, I'm back. And I found this boy. He's real cute. He's real innocent. He wouldn't deter to fly. He's perfect. And then you go for our sacrifice. And it's Witchfire. And she's there. And they got the boiling cauldron. I don't know. For some reason, it looks like the one guy has like a toilet plunger. And the other guy might be fishing. I don't know what's going on there. But, they have shit going on. But again, you think that it is magic, I guess. So he would be.
They don't like magic. Yeah.
And, is susceptible to it. But I don't know. I don't think she's expecting that it would be Superboy Prime. But also, it does seem like when Superboy Prime tells Martha, oh, she was cute. She was nice. You get that she's probably like, well, you should ask her out. Or like she's going to be the one who gets him to go then and try to kind of hook up with this girl. And then you see this shirt and you're like, oh, yeah, Witchfire, that's right on.
They're going to go on dates and stuff like that.
Oh, I think it'll be a couple of dates first. She'll start liking them maybe.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens. But it seems like fun.
But she seems nice. I mean, she's presented as bad here, but who knows?
Yeah, she's going to sacrifice him. But besides that, she seems pretty cool. She knows the comics.
Maybe he'll get some action first.
Yeah. And now I'm just thinking the indie comics are just horror comics that she likes. That nonsense. But so it says next issue, Witchfire versus Superboy Prime. What? Kind of funny. And in these books, I'm going to ask you right now, you have the reign of Superboys, right?
Yep.
Do you think they're ever going to fight about it almost feels like the battle for the cow, the way that's not what's happening, right?
Mm-mm.
Then do you think they're going to find Superman before the next event? I don't.
No.
Right?
No.
So
they might have some leads, but they won't.
All this is just, let's meander a bit. And this is the most fun. And even the Dan Slott, the Superman Unlimited, it does have Tomorrow Man and Young John. So that's pretty cool too. I think the one that I really don't care about is probably the most important one, Action Comics, where you do have Booster and that crew. Can't remember who else was in that. I can't even remember the deal. Mary Marvel.
Yeah, Mary Marvel and Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter. When they go back to talk to him, like that one seems like it's okay.
This one's the best, and then the Dan Slott one.
Dan Slott Unlimited,
and then action. Yeah. But that's close to this one. I mean, I think
this one's
good. This is great, though. Yeah,
yeah, this is fun. And again, if you're going to have to if you're going to have to do something where, we can't really do much, it's a place or whatever, this is great. And Superboy Prime is great. And I do think that right now he's my favorite character in both the big two, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fun. So I'm looking forward to the next issue.
That's not absolute, like mainline stuff.
Yeah. Just the main stuff. This is probably my favorite book right now after these couple issues. How they've restarted things or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think this is good. What would you give it?
I'll give this one an 8.5. I think I did the last. I think I gave the last one a 9. This one's a little less than that.
One a 9. I think I just had fun with it.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
So I'm going to go 9. The art is great. So it's my favorite book that I read this week overall. So I did enjoy it. I didn't read a ton, at least from DC. It's the best, I think. But with that though, we're going to take me and you take a little break. You'll be back at the end to talk about what books we're going to talk about next week. Which is, I didn't even mention, I should have before, I messed up. It is an annuals week next week. It kind of snuck up on us. So next week's podcast is Patreon only. So if you want to listen to that, you'll have to join up Patreon as little as $1 for a month for that. And it's at patreon.com/weirdscience. We'll mention it again at the end. But all in all, that's it for me and you right now. We're going to go off. I'm doing this, trying to get this title of this book again, because we're going to go off to Gray and Fearmonk talking about the peril of the brutal dark and Ezra Cain mystery number 3.
Yes, we are back. It's Vertigo time, Vertigo review. I'm here with Fearmonk. How you doing, Fearmonk?
I'm doing good. I guess, I mean, you could probably just go by Ryan at this point. I think it's been established enough.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, it's all right to call you Ryan, isn't it? Everyone knows your name, really. It's like the bar in Cheers. I tell you, Ryan, to get warmed up for this, I've been watching not 30s or 40s set noir, which I should do, but I've been rewatching the Dirty Harry movies. I'm up to part 3 at the moment, and man, I enjoy them so much.
Okay.
I don't know if you're a fan or not.
No, I haven't. They're on a very, very long list of things that I have to get to at some point. But for other fun comparisons, they did come out with a new video game recently called Mouse P.I., and it's a detective noir set in like the 1930s, obviously, but it's like the 1930s cartoons as well. So it's like the rubber hose animation, and you're just a mouse running around, gunning other mice and animals down. And there's a lot.
I saw it. Was it Asmongold was playing it? One of his. I watched a bit of his playthrough. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, all the streamers are playing it right now. It's a hot new thing. And you can go over and see IGN score and laugh at them complaining about cheese puns in a rat-based video game.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, crazy. So let's get into it. We are talking. Where are we? It's your favourite, was it called Ezra Miller? No. The Peril of the Brutal Dark, an Ezra Cain mystery, the longest title in comics at the moment, written by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips has got his own art, of course. So let me pull up the credits. I had it handy, but I just lost it for a second. Colours as well by Jacob Phillips. Letters Hassan Odsamani El Howe. And it says here, production designer Michael Tivy. I didn't see that before. Editor-in-chief Mary Jevons. That's it.
Maybe they're padding out the credits as the book goes along.
Yeah, maybe so. The main cover here we've got is the Jacob Phillips one. I don't know what you thought of the cover. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. It gives us a good, insight of what the issue is going to be.
It does. It actually matches the story, doesn't it? Yeah. And what we see like basically Ezra is facing up to somebody, about to start fighting. Fisticuffs are being thrown.
Yeah, it's funny because that was more of the last issue as well, where he was just getting tossed around an alley.
Yeah, he was. That's how we left it, wasn't it? Last issue, he was like sneaking around this German kind of run factory or something, some kind of place, and he got like smacked by a big guy.
Yeah, tossed around. It's kind of similar to the the end of life for fun parallels. just getting tossed around for a couple of pages.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Weird coincidence, but yeah. At least the German guy who was tossing Ezra Cain around didn't have a big chicken head mask on.
Yeah, that is true. And at least, for other fun comparisons, I mean, I guess we could both say that we both didn't understand either of the main antagonist in the last issue, because you just had Big Cock that only responded in Big Cock, and the other guy was in German, which we had to run to Google Translate for.
God, yeah, and it happens again in this, doesn't it? We get a bit of German, but it didn't take me out of it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'll tell you what he said," but I mean, I unfortunately didn't do my background research, so I'm just gonna take him on his word. Always a good idea.
Same here. So let's get inside the issue. So we open with some really cool pages, really atmospheric art. We were saying beforehand by Jacob Phillips. Ezra Cain is basically being interrogated somewhere. There's a table. There's his hat on the table, and there's like a single light bulb. It's really, really moody, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good opening. I really like that first page. There's not really. I mean, it kind of, as we go along, we see more of the actual panels just by the the grids, but that first page, we're just kind of in the darkness with them, which is a really nice touch.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. Someone saying his name, it turns out to be kind of, I guess it's the boss of this warehouse. He's called Hans, not Gruber from Die Hard, but Hans Huber. Do you reckon that's a kind of like bit of a nod of the hat to Hans Gruber?
Yeah, that's. I don't know if that's just it's like I can only think of one or two German names, and it's like, all right, that's with, or maybe he's just a really big fan of the movie.
It could be, yeah, it could be. I hadn't even noticed it until now, like on my reread here. So I was like, all right, Hans Huber. So he introduces himself. He's basically saying, "This is my building. You were snooping around it," and they've got him tied up. They've got him, like, basically his hands are tied, so he's not looking good.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of great visuals on what's going on. Like, his hands are tied, but we can just kind of barely see the rope. But it does put us in the same mindset. Like, I don't know what's going on either.
No, and to be fair to this Hans Huber, the boss here, he does like apologize for the treatment of his big heavy called Gotts with a Z. Basically he said he takes pride in his work. That's why he beat him up. And yeah, they're just basically they're interrogating him, asking why why were you sneaking around the factory? What was the reason you're here? And Ezra Cain tells him because they're hunting for a worker, Carl Mayer, whose wife hired him to look for him.
It's a kind of a stalemate scene. He's just like, I'm sneaking around because I'm looking for this missing guy, and he's like, oh well, you're looking around. I got nothing to hide. Let's tell you what you're looking for. So they're both kind of they know more than they're letting on, but they're not spilling all the beans.
That's true. Yeah, that's it. Ezra Cain tells them that the wife has a theory that maybe husband's here. Maybe he's being held against his will, and they start laughing, don't they? These two German guys, and then they start speaking German just to piss Ezra off even more.
Yeah, and us.
Holen Sie den vermissten Mann.
Yeah, no.
What does that mean? You can't just start speaking German.
Yeah, thankfully he translates, and we see him, bring a shadowy figure along, and we get what looks like a very terrified engineer.
He does look very, very scared, doesn't he? They bring him in, and it's the missing guy. It's Carl Mayer, and with a big hand on his shoulder, he's being asked, "Are you being held against your will?" And he's like, "I do not understand."
Yeah, it's they have a scene later where it's kind of the tell to the audience that something's not right, but it's like from the very moment, it's like this is very odd. This is a very sus situation.
Yeah. He's been brought in, hasn't he, to basically show that, look, he's not being held against his will, but he looks like he is to us. The way he's talking, he looks afraid, he's scared, he's whispering.
Yeah. I don't know how deep you go on The Simpsons, but I'm trying to remember the actual celebrity singer that they had, but they brought it to Marge's like dinner or whatever, and he's being held at gunpoint behind him, and it's like, just smile to the camera. He's like, "Hi Marge, how's it going?" Like, that's how I feel.
With a gun behind that you can't, the person can't see, kind of thing. Yeah, but it's basically okay. Ezra explaining to this guy, to Carl, that your wife hired me. She was worried you'd be missing for a few days. And, you're okay? What should I tell her? And the Hans Huber says, tell her that Carl's married to his work. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know how well that would go over. Yeah, I think you need a little bit better of an excuse.
Yeah, me too. They kind of force him to say that he's happy to be there, happy to work there, but he doesn't look like he is. It doesn't sound like he is.
Yeah.
There we go. So they take him out. They take poor Carl Meyer back to work, as they say, yeah, back to work. And then ask, I've got to do it. We've got to do the dodgy German accent, haven't we, Ryan?
Are you hiding workers under your floorboards?
Was there anything else I could help you with, Mr. Cain? Classic Indiana Jones style, dodgy German accent.
And then he looks back at Ezra. Like, it's the tell to Ezra in the audience, like, help. But it's like...
Yeah, that look just is screaming, help me, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so...
Big twist at the end, and it's like, oh, wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah, so we will see him later on. He will come into it later on. But for the time being, he gets taken out, and then Hans Huber is asking, okay, anything else? What else were we here for? And Ezra talks about seeing a man with mechanical legs, like something out of Weird Tales. I like that. I like that reference to Weird Tales.
Yeah, that's definitely like, I didn't do much background work, as I had said, but I mean, I'm assuming that's like a similar one of the, the weird science, the eerie tales, the shock and horror or whatever. Right. So I'm assuming that's one of those generic anthology comics.
Robert E. Howard or H.P. Lovecraft, used to write for. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kind of thing. It's a shout out to those magazines, those awesome, like, pulpy science fiction horror magazines back in the day.
Yeah. Which is kind of, I mean, I guess that would just be, current day comics then.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Hans Huber says, he's kind of laughing it off. Oh, yes, you Americans and your superstitions. The way he says it, like, it's really cool. They've got the dialogue bubble is kind of like dripping. It's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah. A fun little fact that's completely irrelevant to this. I met Jeff Johns, who, most people are a big fan of, that would be listening to this podcast. And I got an issue that he wrote with Joe Chill on it. And he drew a little frieze on the cover, and he drew the bubble kind of like that. And it's really neat.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So anytime I see something that's similar, I'm just like, oh, I like that.
So the boss here, Hans, he says, the Great War, as your country calls it, do you remember it? And Ezra, as we already know, Ezra tells him, I fought in it.
I was there, buddy.
I was there,
and
man.
It sucked.
Yeah, God. And Hans is saying, many veterans, as you will know, come back in basically, with parts missing. And the guy with the metal leg you saw was one of those ex-soldiers, but we fixed his leg. We basically gave him a new leg.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. I wasn't really sure why this is being brought up. Ryan, were you?
I mean, I think it's the tying into, because you remember they did have the mechanical soldiers guarding the hammer and the anvil and all that.
Oh, so, yeah, in the first issue. Yeah.
So maybe, it's
buried in the tomb.
Yeah, maybe it's a hint that they've either gotten access to the tomb as well, or maybe they got Hephaestus's technology, or they have the hammer itself. It gives people, they're bringing the dead back to life. But, it was kind of, it's a nice play off of, like, what's going on. Like, oh, man, I saw something weird. And it's like, well, yeah, it's just the guy that got hurt in the war. Don't think too much about it. Don't look at that. You're going to offend him. Like, oh,
that's a good point. Like, maybe, as you say, they're using that magical hammer, the anvil, to work, to put these, like, artificial limbs on some of the veterans, maybe, because I don't know what, like, the technology was like back then, the late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great technology. I mean, we were, like, it was also, there was an overwhelming need versus demand or supply kind of thing, but it was a lot of where it was like, oh man, you got shot in the leg. Well, okay, we're just going to take the leg.
That's it. Just take it off.
Good technology.
On crutches. That's it. Or at the most, if you got an artificial leg, it was probably wooden, wasn't it? Back in the day, not made from metal like they're saying. But anyway,
if you want to get into fun thought experiments, it's around the time of World War II where we got a lot of advancements in medical technology.
It's true. Okay. So anyway, he lets Ezra go, doesn't he? Ezra Cain is okay, just don't be snooping around here again. If I catch you again, it will be me you speak with next. Which is weird because he's speaking with him now, but anyway.
Well, he says he won't be speaking with him next time. He'll be speaking with the authorities.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah,
because he isn't technically law enforcement. He's a private detective. So,
he's a PI. Yeah.
Snooping around, completely breaking in, entering, possibly shooting at people without I mean, I'm sure he's got like a license and everything, but I'm sure he can't just go running around shooting people in the streets, even if they are.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So he lets him go. We get some nice art on the next 2 pages. Great colouring here, where we see Ezra Cain driving back to his house, but he stops somewhere. Is it a Dino's? Good old Dino's.
Can't have a town without a Dino's.
He meets his buddy Mac. Ezra, come over here, and he's like, did you forget I told you about this shindig you're expected? So some kind of do or some kind of party. And he says, yeah, I've just been getting back from being, from a beatdown. Jesus, what happened to you?
It is a nice, for the Star Wars fans, it's like poetry, it rhymes. It's he set Mac off on the quest in the beginning, and he's like, hey, go look into this thing that just coincides with the case you're working on. And then as he was leaving, he's like, oh, you got to stop by later and have some drinks with the gang like old times. And he's like, what, you need another favor? And so he shows up now and he's like, oh man, what happened to you? And he's like, I was doing that favor you asked me for.
He stuck his nose in a beehive is how he explains it. So yeah. Mac's like, hey, let me get you a beer and we'll talk it through. Then we go inside this to Dino's place, don't we? The restaurant or the bar, whatever. And there's a lot of people that seem to know. They know Ezra Cain, don't they?
Where everybody knows his name.
Yeah, it is Cheers. You're right. Oh my God, he's coming up again.
Yeah, and there's Norm at the bottom. Coach at the bar.
There's Norm. Yeah, there's a joke as well. Like one of the older guys is like, "Oh, the prodigious son returns." It's like, it's prodigal, Borden. Prodigal. Come on. Gives him a big hug though. He looks happy to see him. And
I guess Kyle Starks isn't just the only one with clever wordplay in the Vertigo series.
Yeah. End of life. Check it out. Ryan, you take it from here. Like, who does Ezra meet at the bar? Quite a surprise, isn't it?
It's fun for the continued throwback of poetry rhyming. I mentioned earlier how this would be the part where the sultry love interest would be in the office, like, hey, I need your help on the case, and we get that scene, but it's 3 issues in and at the bar.
Yeah.
But it's kind of clunky dialogue where they're just kind of catching up, like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while, and then in the background it's like, oh, who's that? And it's like, oh, this is this girlfriend that he used to have, and she's this reporter, and this is her career, and, she was born at this date, and this is her star sign. Like,
it's tricky to do it well, isn't it? You do need exposition sometimes, because she wouldn't walk up to him and say, hey, remember me, Sandy Williams, the reporter. So yeah. You've got like these guys in the background kind of doing that for her, yeah.
But it's also, it's a noir. You could do internal dialogue because that's the style of noir. You have the guy where he's just going along. He's like, oh, that damn dame walked into my life. The worst.
She walked back into my life.
Yeah.
In a red dress, legs that went up to 11. The classic, all the old cliches.
Yeah, and so like that's what you would expect, but it's like it's kind of clunky that it's just random bar patrons that know everything about all these people.
Yeah,
2 random people walk in a room. I don't know who they are.
Got a nice smile though. Anyway, I'll say that. And Ezra's like, hey, how long's it been? 2 years. She's like, 3. I'm still working, still writing. I'm on a story right now. What's it about? She's like, oh, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. And this is where we get the little bit of a reference to some sort of cult that's been plotting something big, but they call themselves the Brutal Dark. Dun, dun, dun. And that's what we get, really, isn't it? In a film, I say Ryan Filmonic, oh my God. Sea guy. Had to do it.
I knew it was coming. But yeah, it's weird for him being a semi-competent detective that we've seen so far, where this is a big clue. This is of course it's the title, but like he has had other people mention it. I think the I want to say Hispanic, maybe German woman asked him about
the wife of the missing German guy. Yeah, she was talking about it, wasn't she?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we heard these rumors of people calling, they called themselves the Brutal Dark, and then she name drops it, and he's just like, I don't know. It's like, come on, man. Like that feels like a very obvious clue. Maybe he just got hit too hard this week.
Yeah, she said she's on it. It's going to be a big story, but when he asks her about it, she's like, well, I don't know really, just a little bit of information here and there, but nothing conclusive. So anyway, enough about me. What about you?
Tell us about yourself, Ezra. We know so little.
He's like, yeah, have you been like saving the world recently? Any big cases? And he's like, yeah, nice try, Williams. Is it Sandy she's called? I've fallen into that trap before. Never trust a hungry journalist. And it's true, isn't it, Ryan? It's good advice. Is she just out for a story, do you reckon, or what?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could totally be. I mean, that's the classic story of the noir, I can't think of the exact title, but I'm thinking of like Lupin the Third kind of thing where, like Sly Cooper, for example, I reference that.
The Maltese Falcon, one of those old
books.
Yeah.
But, exactly. They got the love interest that's never really committed to it where, they're on and off and, it's the tension of like, oh, are they going to get together? That he won't settle down and she's always chasing a headline. That's Lois Lane and Superman, So, like it's very obvious, they could, if we mentioned it, it very strongly suggested this is only the 6 issues for this storyline, and then we'll see where it goes. So I could, you could totally see her, at the end of the story or the end of the 6 issues, like, all right, I got my story. I'll see you later. And, they leave on, will they cross paths again? And the next time something comes up, she just shows up and it's like, I'm chasing the headlines again.
Or is she chasing Ezra Cain? We're not quite sure. But she does seem to be pushing. Yeah, of course she's after a story, but there are quite a few remarks where you get the impression that she, they split up. They were together in the past, but they split up. But I think she's still got a bit of a thing for him. Yeah.
Oh, of course. He's the main character.
That's it. Who wouldn't have a thing for him? He's got a really cool, like, dandy moustache. Anyway. We got this weird guy, and let's get a page turn here. There's a guy in a bowler hat who just comes out of nowhere, and he's like, oh, I come here to relax with my boys in blue, but the bar's full of flunkies, floozes, and losers. Pretty good dialogue, by the way, there. From
he's a very poetic man.
Yeah, Jesus, getting Chris Condon. Chris Condon, there we go. And someone in the back was like, oh, shit, Winston's here. Commissioner Dickie Winston, says Ezra Cain. Are they not picking up trash on Tuesdays anymore?
Yeah, I'm waiting for at some point. He's just gonna call him Dick.
Yeah, hey Dick, you dick. Yeah. So you get the impression that they don't like each other, and that carries on, doesn't it, Ryan? You tell us what happens here.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. We get like 2 pages of very heavy exposition, very forcefully put on us, and then we get this guy, and it's just kind of he's this rich guy. Okay. Like, we don't really get a lot of backstory of him or their bad blood. He mentions kind of that, Ezra's messed up cases in the past. He's just kind of egging him on. And it's the next, I'm guessing I didn't really read it the way that you have it set up on yours. So it's the page turn is him getting turned around and punched, but it's a very odd drawing, paneling.
It is, isn't it? I had no idea who punched him. Did you? Is he just one of the cops in the bar? Because he's the commissioner of the guy, isn't he? The bowler hat guy.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing because Ezra had the the whole falling out with the police department.
Yeah.
They mentioned earlier where he was I don't work on the force anymore. It didn't work out with me, kind of thing.
We're not sure exactly what happened. We're not been told, have we? But we just get little hints and rumours. And the commissioner here is like saying, he basically calls him, he calls Ezra a cop-hating son of a bitch, so there's a lot of history here.
Yeah, it's a lot of history, and I'm sure, eventually we'll get flashbacks or hopefully not more clunky dialogue, but...
Also, someone says, Hughes was a lousy cop. I love it when people say Hughes.
Yeah.
Hey, Hughes, what?
we got to get some mooks by the end of this.
Yeah, where the mooks? So as you say, we get a page turn, and basically the commissioner was baiting Ezra to make a move, and Ezra was about to punch him, but one of the boys in blue in the bar smacks him, knocks him out, man, doesn't he? He gets him with a great left hook.
He calls him son, which always throws me because it's one of those things where it's like that could just be the old person kind of, hey son, how's it going? Where you just call everybody son, or it might be like his actual biological son. Yeah,
we're not sure, are we?
We see that a lot, and you know, I'm the police commissioner, I'm the police chief, I'm the mayor, I'm whatever point of authority. I'm going to put my family in other parts of authority, which could also lead into Ezra Cain could have been screwed over in the past, having to work with nepotism and getting overlooked or overshadowed, or possibly even had his work put aside.
Absolutely. I wonder if we will find out in the future maybe about this, but yeah, basically, we've heard that this commissioner is saying that Ezra, he messed up in the past or something. He thinks he's not a good cop. He wasn't a good cop, and now he hates cops. But anyway, and then there's a weird scene here. Ryan, what do you reckon to this page where we've got? Is it Ezra he's knocked out, isn't he? He's unconscious. Is he hallucinating here?
Yeah, it's a little bit of him, just being blacked out and probably dreaming. A little bit of his head swirling. Is probably I don't want to say like concussed. It's probably just been smacked around a little bit. But I'm sure that's doing. It's not great for the brain. So I'm sure it's like when you're having too much Tylenol or something, you're gonna have some weird dreams.
We get one of the zombie Nazis in his vision, don't we?
Yeah, the commissioner is bloated and gross looking.
He's like, his face is almost melting, like Clayface style. It's weird.
But man, the art was so good. I thought I was in Martian Manhunter there for a second. I was going to get this.
Not quite as colourful, but
the smoke.
The smoke, man. Oh my god. Then, we get a scene shift, and we are with Ezra. Cain is waking up. I guess it's his apartment. He's been taken home by Sandy Williams.
Yeah. That's the part where I got what you were saying, where it was like she's definitely still kind of got the hots for him, because it's like he got knocked out and she took him back home, which means either she got him in a cab and dragged him inside, or just dragged him home. Which either way, kudos to her.
It's good for her, she's either, as you say, she's either still got a thing for him, or she just really does like care. She's looking after him. She was worried about him because he was gone, he was out. He wakes up, he's like, oh, how you doing? How you feeling? Like $1,000,000 fucking bucks, Sandy. Why is everybody hitting me today? That kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, that made me laugh. Why does everybody want to hit me today?
It definitely is like Eddie Stallion from End of Life too, isn't it? Getting certain vibes from that as well.
Yeah, I could definitely see like a multiverse of realities where this is a very old, aged Eddie Stallion, like his great-great-grandfather.
This is followed by a pretty cool line from her where she replies to him, why is everyone hitting me? She's like, it's the new hot craze sweeping the town. Run into your past and see how hard it bites.
Kind of a weird juxtaposition between it's like a really funny line. It's like, hey, it's that hot new craze, and then it's like, oh, that's a really deep cut. Don't hurt that hard.
No. Okay, so she's helping him out, and he's like, yeah, thanks. He really did a number on you, didn't he? And it's like, who was it? Winston? No, Mangini. Oh, of course. Fascist. It's like, and I'm a bit lost here. Ryan's like, is that the guy who hit him? He was a cop? Mangini?
Yeah, I'm guessing. He sounds very Italian.
He does. That's why I was in Dino's. Hey!
I'm looking for some gabagool.
Yeah, man, the gabagool, sorry. So, again, we get a bit more expo, like Sandy, the journalist, she's saying, it sounds like Winston, the commissioner, he's still got it out for you. But think maybe got it in for you, maybe, even after all these years. Ezra's like, yeah, what else is new? Do you regret it all, the incident with? And then he cuts her off, doesn't he? He's like, regret? What? You remember what happened? Hornecker was going to kill that kid if I didn't step in. So, again, we're getting references to past, aren't we, here?
No, now it's my turn to say, hey, what's going on? Now I'm lost. Yeah, we don't know any of this, so it's just kind of like, I'm going to, I'm assuming something happened. We'll see it later. It just feels.
I don't mind this kind of thing, Ryan. I like it when we don't get it all spelled out to us, kind of thing. It's not all expo. It's like we get little hints that something went down. References to people. Okay, Ezra stood up for somebody. Maybe he got in trouble because of that. He got kicked off the force. So I'm sure we'll find out.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure at some point, there'll be the big finale where the head cop or one of the boys in blue was working in leagues with them, and they're having the standoff, and he's like, "You were such a good cop. You could have been the best, but you had to turn me in, or you had to get in my way of this thing." And, it'll be the big finale. But
yeah,
I just always worry when I read things, and it's a little bit of impatience, I won't lie, but it's also, I just worry about things where it's like, we only have the 6 issues, and it's like, if we don't come back for another series, and, it's like, oh, I'll spell this out in issue 8, and then it gets canceled. It's like, oh well. I guess
that is a worry. They are supposed to be going for at least 12 the Vertigo titles, even if there is a break, between cases with this, this particular series. We'll see.
And that's, if it does, if 10 years from now, Ezra Cain's been going on for this whole thing, and there's, blockbuster movies that have taken over the James Bond franchise and all that, all that happens, and we're looking back, I won't hold it against it, but, just for the moment, I've got that apprehension of like, oh man, I hope this, does continue on where we do get answers.
I hope so too.
Yeah, nothing's worse than a mystery novel where the back of the half is missing.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely. So again, we've got more kind of character development with Sandy and Ezra. She's looking after him, and we get her more of a feeling that she really does care for him. But just by the dialogue here, maybe I want to look after you. Maybe I've missed you. Haven't you ever been wrong before, Ezra? And he's like, Sandy, what are we? And then they get interrupted by a telephone call.
Every time. But I didn't get to point it out before, but I really do love I guess I'd call it the letterer. I don't know who exactly would be doing that, the artist or the letterer itself. But whenever you have, you got the generic speech bubbles when they're just talking. And as we've mentioned, they're pretty creative with some of those as well. But whenever they're having like, more quiet or intimate moments, it just kind of goes for the balloonless dialogue where it's just them kind of, the words are just kind of floating. It's a good touch.
It's cool with the black, when it goes black background, and, just focusing in on them. And you, as you say, the font is in white, and it's like not in like balloons even. It's just, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice back and forth, isn't it, here?
Yeah, some really good showing without telling.
That's cool. So they get the call. Ezra picks it up. It's like, hello, Ezra Cain. Yes, this is Meyer. Carl Meyer. They may be listening, so I'll speak quickly. Meet me by the water, the Brooklyn Bridge, in 1 hour. The fate of the city may depend on it. And that's it. It's like, dun, dun, dun. What a cliffhanger, man.
I wonder what's going to happen at that Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah. That's it. That's the end of issue 3. What do you reckon? This is a big cliffhanger, isn't it? It's kind of like, okay, now we've got to pick up the next issue to find out, what Carl Meyer knows.
Yeah. And I guess we'll spoil it because it doesn't really matter since, we haven't read the next issue, but I have a feeling it's going to be Ezra running to the bridge, and he sees the shadow figure of someone, and they jump off the bridge, and he goes to run after them. He just sees their body in the river on the rocks, and there's a couple of like files that he pieces together, and he gets a couple leads.
Wow. You just predicted the next issue. That's awesome. But yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if, he gets to see, he's about to meet Carl Meyer, just about to get the crucial information, and just as he gets there, he plunges off the bridge. He's like, yeah, I can totally see that happening. So that's it, chapter 3, Broken Glass and Spilled Beer. Pretty cool, pretty good. We get some back matter, which I tried to read these kind of handwritten letters or memos here. Ryan, I couldn't make sense and get if they were important or not.
Not a big fan of cursive, eh?
No, I was struggling, man, especially on the screen. I'm looking through the screen here. It's like, I don't know what is going on here.
Well, now I'm really disappointed because at one point I wanted to, voluntold you that you should read Barry Windsor Smith. There's a Monster by Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith, yeah.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful, amazing story that I don't think enough people have read, but it's like 400, 500 pages, and I want to say 200 of those pages are all cursive handwriting.
Oh, God, really?
I don't think I'll get you to be my...
I don't mind if I can read it. I struggle to read these words. They all kind of linked together. It's weird.
Yeah. So it's a fun thing because as much as, cursive is still taught in school occasionally in my generation, most of my friends at this point cannot read cursive very well, especially if it's more swirly or loopy. So I run into the same problem where I'm like, oh, my buddy's getting into comics. He would really enjoy Monster. I can't recommend it to him. It's all in cursive. So the notes in the back
can be a problem.
It's English and I can't read. But the notes are just kind of his little notes that he would be taking on cases. They're not really relevant to the. I didn't read the bottom one just because it was a lot of text and I was kind of in a hurry. But the first one was just kind of an unrelated case from another time, I believe. So it's just kind of, like, I'm looking for this person, complaints about this. Suspect was.
I kept seeing the word dog, like it was about. I thought it was like a missing dog or something. It's like, oh, this is not important at all.
Yeah, it's just his little like notebook. If you've seen the generic detective PI kind of thing, the little notebook that they would keep with them and jot down, notes that they would take. So, I don't.
Right at the bottom it says a dog name Tippy responds to Tippy Tip or Mr. Tips or something. It's like, okay, fair enough. Not important.
I don't think it was related to that case. I appreciate it. It's funny. It's a nice little touch, but
it is. It's nice to see it. Yeah, just wish you could read it a bit easier.
Yeah, gave us something to talk about.
It did. Okay, so what would you rate this if you have to rate this as an issue, single issue, or as so far the first 3 issues?
We'll save our thoughts. When it's closer to the end
for the conclusion. Yeah.
But for this issue itself, it's I'm feeling a solid 7. Just a very base good 7. It's a solid issue. There's some good action. You get the plot moving forward. Both issues have had really good cliffhangers so far, so I do appreciate that. But the fight choreography, the sight lines, whatever you want to call them, between the few punches that we actually saw in this issue were very jarring. The art still looks phenomenal, and as I mentioned, the letterer or whoever is doing their bang up job, but it's still good overall. I'd say the series is kind of the same as about a 7 so far, but it's still early to call it.
I'm with you. I'm the same. I'm between a 7.5 for the series so far. This issue maybe was a little bit of a down compared to the last one. Not as much action. You get a little bit, but a lot of dialogue in this. Not overly verbose in that way.
No.
But a bit too much expo at times, wasn't it? It's kind of like, okay, they're telling us what's going on without us learning much more about the brutal dark, which is kind of what we want to know. But yeah, I enjoyed it enough. Good art. So yeah, I'm a 7 as well. I'll match your 7.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd play their hand and give us all the secrets of the brutal dark right now. But I really did get taken out of the issue by how clunky some of the exposition in the bar felt. And it kind of you got to set up the characters, but at the same time, if you're going to set up some characters and we'll explain it in flashbacks or details later, I feel like you should do it for all of them or none of them, because it feels really weird to not have some things explained very well, which could be the mystery part of it, but then other things are just like, oh man, that's Johnny, he's my best friend since childhood.
I just thought it would have been nice to have seen, not so much explanation, but just seen like different scenes of the brutal dark, getting little hints of what they're doing, or there's things going on, like shadowy, things in the background. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get that in the next few issues.
Yeah, because theoretically, I don't think we've actually ever seen the brutal dark. I think we've just, they mentioned that Carl went to meetings and they had like, a bunch of like, not literally shadowy like hooded figures or whatever, but just like outlined gray shadows of like people at a party kind of thing. And so, like I would like to see, like intercut with, just a random scene of like a bunch of cult members standing around like a temple or something.
Yeah, me too. Same. Okay, we'll have to call it here. That's been cool. So appreciate you listening. If you listened this long, fair play. We salute you and hope to see you in a future video, future review. Drop a comment, let us know what you think if you're reading it back home. And yeah, Ryan, thanks a lot for joining me.
Yeah, as always, man. I'll be sailing the seas of sea guy.
Nice one. So we hope we're giving you more reasons to get back on board the Vertigo
train.
Train. See you later.
I was there with Jack, and we weren't terribly impressed with the music.
All right, and here we go. To finish it up, I'm here with Triple B. What up, Brad?
What's up, Jim?
What is up is Hans Grubering this week. I told you there's a bunch of Hans Grubers this week, which will be in the first book, and we'll get right into this. We're going to start with Detective Comics, number 1108, written by Tom Taylor, Pete Woods, and Bruno Abdias on art. Abdias. Yeah, you really nailed nothing. Pete Woods and Lee Lowridge on colors. Wes Abbott is on letters, and we have the Jessica Burberry associate editor, Ben Mears editor, Rob Levin group editor. And I actually didn't even see like a big change in the art that threw me out. It does change a bit, but it wasn't that bad. And you have some flashbacks and things like that. And I just, with this story, you ended up sending me a note and you said it's better. The last issue stunk.
Yeah, last issue was
a low
terrible.
bar. And the only thing I have with this, we get into this, and I don't know what the mystery is supposed to be anymore. Like, are we supposed to be worried about AI corporate takeover? That seems like a red herring. You even said to me, but
yeah, I think so.
I don't like. I said if you want something to be a red herring, you need me to be so interested in that. So when you get the twist, I'm like, oh God, I thought it was him. I know nothing about this guy. This guy is everything about this guy is so on the nose of Tom Taylor saying he's so horrible that it has to be a red herring. You know what I mean? Like the idea, corporate takeover. I don't even know exactly what is happening. And then this guy goes and, all that stuff is just so over the top to the point of trying to push you that way that it seems almost, intentional, which it should be. But the idea, like, it's not fooling me to care.
We've got like two kind of mysteries going on. One is like, who is Prion and who is this lady and this child that are associated with him somehow? And this guy, that the CEO, who is an AI guy who also does a bunch of other apparently crooked, shady stuff, who's knocking off witnesses that are scheduled to testify against him. Those are the two things we got going on. One assumes that they're going to be connected at some point, that they're going to be related somehow, and we'll find out.
Isn't it weird though? Like, they're not really connected in my mind.
Well, not yet. But like, the first issue of this arc was very like, it just failed from a fundamental storytelling construction standpoint that made it very, very frustrating to read and left you confused as to who they were talking about at any given point in time, just so that he could have this reveal of Prion, and you're like, I don't know who that is. So none of this worked for me. But now that we've at least gotten that out of the way, we can just start. This probably should have been the first issue of this arc, in my opinion.
Maybe put that Prion stuff in it, but even then,
but so like what we're gonna get here is really two stories. We're gonna get like a flashback to the first time that Black Canary, Batman, and Green Arrow met Prion. So we're gonna start to see the beginning of Prion, and then we're gonna get also like a current story with those three, where they're dealing with the last remaining witness, who looks like he's about to be taken out by a means unknown, people unknown, in order so that he can't testify against the CEO. Yeah. And so really in this issue, I think the reason it's better is that, one, it's a lot more clear what's going on. Like, we know who we're starting to see. Okay, this is Prion. This is his deal. Okay, here's the CEO's target this time. And there's a lot of action in this one. We get basically two big action scenes as most of this book. So yeah, it's definitely a lot better. I'm starting to get a little bit more on board with the story. I'm a little bit curious about who this crazy lady is that's associated with Prion. But we'll see. But yeah, so it's definitely a marked improvement from last week, which last issue. Did we give that an FU5? We might have given it an FU5.
Yeah. I won't give an FU to this, but it's still, Prion, I don't know why, but I'm not interested in the idea of, we don't know his name, stranger, hero, friend. I'm like, all right, so that connects. It connects to what seems to be a ghost girl. And then the CEO deal, though, is, I don't know. I'm no big businessman. I'm not businessman Jim, but I don't know how well a corporate takeover goes when you're on trial for whatever the hell he is. Like, it seemed like corporate espionage, and I can't even remember what they said. But it's
a hostile takeover. Yeah. So he's going in, his company's going in and offering more than the market value per share in order to buy the company.
But again,
buy
I
all
don't
the
know
shares
the
in the
deal,
company for more than the market value.
I don't see how that's allowed by anybody who's actually like the trial's tomorrow. It seems like the trial's in 2 days.
Convicted. He hasn't been convicted of anything.
He's still arrested and is pending trial. I would think that would be a red flag of, we got to wait until after the trial. Also,
well, you got to keep in mind, so the way this stuff works, right, is that he would put forth the offer to the board for them to accept or reject. And the deal still doesn't go through at that point. He can put the offer, they can accept it, then it's got to go through regulatory approval.
Well, yeah.
So that's where it would fall up. That's where it would fall apart.
The other part of this is there's no board. Oliver just shows up and tells him to go F himself. This is ridiculous.
That's the only issue with how that whole story construction works. Like I don't think it's a problem that like he's under investigation for different things and his company's putting forth an offer. Like those things can happen at the same time.
Yeah, it's just that it's like now,
it might make the board less likely to agree to it. But you can still put forth the offer. They can still accept.
My issue though is Tom Taylor sets these things. He does it all the time. He hates prison for pay in Nightwing. And then that becomes a 2-panel thing, never solved. But he says it's solved. This again, this guy's awful. He's bad. Also, really playing the idea in this by the end, in my mind, that, and remember, the guy's like an AI guy. That's all we know. But he's in trouble for something. But in Tom Taylor's mind, he wants us, and we're guessing that he's getting these guys killed. It seems the deal. And if he is, Tom Taylor seems to think the AI stuff's worse than murder. Because Oliver's just mad about the other stuff. He never said, it's kind of ridiculous. And at the end, this guy's just bad.
Point of clarification. I forgot that he doesn't make the offer to the board. He makes the offer to the shareholders of the company. So he just basically puts it out to everybody who owns shares. That's why it's hostile. Because the board doesn't want to do it. The CEO doesn't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. But if you're a share owner and somebody's offering you to double your share,
into that. But he doesn't. He just says Oliver says no, and he leaves.
Well, right. So that's the thing. That's the thing that doesn't really make any sense about it is that like he's like, okay, one would assume that I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be because basically the guy's going to Ollie and he thought he was going to meet with the board and Ollie and that he was going to put an offer to them that would not be a hostile takeover that they would accept. And so that he doesn't go to the shareholders and make it hostile, just have be a regular buyout. And basically, Ollie told him, "There's no need for the board. I'm telling you to go yourself." Basically, so now it's going to be a hostile takeover.
Yeah, I don't even know that he even says that. Does he? He just leaves.
Well, the point of all of this is like, how much does your typical comic reader know about how that stuff works? Or are they going to be left confused?
Add Tom Taylor in as well, because I don't think he does either. And lo and behold, I don't give a shit. I don't care that this guy's going to buy part of Oliver Queen's Gotham deal. I don't even know what that branch or whatever does. I don't
even know if I think he's buying all of Queen Industries.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it's that big. I think that he's buying a subsidiary to it, or Oliver would be flipping out. The idea that's his whole deal. You'd have to get more involved.
That would be how a hostile takeover would work, though.
This is how I'm saying,
he has to buy all of Queen Industries. But
we don't even know what he's going to do. We don't know that he's going to end up doing it. This is my point, is that Tom Taylor makes it generic. So I don't care. I don't know what this guy is. He's there. He might as well have a tattoo on his forehead that says bad guy, because everything is just that. We don't know anything about him.
We get nothing about him at all. So like we've gotten clearly. That's why he's not the important part of the story. It's all this girl and this lady and Prion. So I think he's not spending much time on it. Here's the thing. We're in the second issue of this arc. If this were the first issue, I'd be a little bit more inclined to say, let's give it some time to breathe and see how this all plays out. Because we're only looking at, one narrow chapter of it. The issue is that the problem is that we spent the first issue doing nothing.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of setup and weird story construction and a lot of time wasting for really to not. So I think that's part of the issue. Like if this were an issue 1, I would have been like, but I'm a little bit, I'm with you more in the sense that because it's the second issue, we should know a little bit more by now.
Well, this is the thing. My big thing is, like you said, like we're in the second issue. I think that it's a red herring. You said it, right? But you already said too, like this isn't important. Like the idea that in the second issue, but yet it was important because this is the only reason Oliver's here. Oliver has to get into town because of this. So it's really a problem.
What I mean by not important is that he's not the main villain of the
Well,
story.
I'm saying though, that's what I'm saying already though. If it's a red herring, we're supposed to still believe he is. He seems apparently to be killing people. He's on trial. He's taking over Oliver Queen's, Queen Industries. But yet we already are pushing him away. We're always like, it's just whatever. It's just, this is backdrop. This is setting. But it was, again.
Yeah, he's just backdrop. He's just a prop. Maybe red herring isn't the right word. But yeah,
he got Oliver into town. And legit, what Batman, what's it called, Black Canary and Oliver doing are all based on this guy trying to save these people. In the meantime, they're like, man, who was that girl? But it really is like, I hope that there's something more with this guy than just, oh man, you're bad. But then at the end, like, oh, he was bad, but he wasn't the worst. And we finally do get Prion. But even that, Prion to connect with it at this point, we'll see how it works. But Prion seems to be pretty cool. And at the grave, I mean, Prion was buried as a friend, a hero. That ghost girl comes in and says, was he a hero? Because I didn't think he was. And that's the mystery. So how does this connect and whatnot? But we'll have to see. We do start out where we see the, the first meeting of Prion. You don't get exactly the time frame of when then was, but I guess it was, wasn't it like 10 years ago since he died or something? But this would have been before. But you have him there, and I'm like, Batman didn't know of this kid. Like, Batman is really like asleep at the wheel a lot of times. Like, I would have thought, and maybe he does the way that he lets him do things, but it does seem they're surprised by this guy. But him just showing up, there's like a bank robbery, and everybody's
it's his first time coming out to do something.
Again, first time coming out, and Batman says for them to stay back because all of a sudden this guy, they end up where Batman, Black Canary, and Green Arrow are fighting these guys. I don't know why this guy would assume, oh, I got to jump in here. It's kind of an odd deal. He does say later what's that?
I was going to say, because he knows who they are.
Well,
right?
That's what I'm saying. If I knew who they were, I wouldn't get involved. I know they'd be able to take care of it. And he stops an arrow, which is very odd. Like, that's Oliver's thing. And he stops it as if, and then Oliver has to tell him that wouldn't have killed him. It was just an odd setup. I felt it was very forced.
Yeah, it kind of, I don't know about, I don't think it was forced, but like it confused me a little bit because you can clearly see that it's not like an arrow. It's like a blunt arrow, right? It's not the boxing glove, but it's got like what looks like a lead weight.
A lot of them then.
You did get that at the beginning. But it's got like, it looks like a lead weight on the front, something like that, something that'll just impact him. And this guy grabs it out of the air. And at first, Ollie's confused. He thinks that he's saving the guy. Batman's like, no, wait. And then Prion starts beating the crap out of everybody. And I was like, well, wait, why did he grab that arrow? Like, what did he? And that's where Ollie later is like, hey, that wasn't going to kill him. And the guy's like, and Prion's like, oh, right, sorry. And it definitely kind of threw me off. I read it like twice. To be like, oh,
threw me
okay, off. I got it. But their banter after the fight is I thought it was pretty fun.
It was okay. Batman, the part again, I was just going to say, Batman says wait because he wants to, hey, he's not a bad guy. But then the guy gets oozes. And Batman's just there. I'm like, this kid's going to die. It's his first time out.
Well, it's like Batman's like, wait, he's like, he wants to see, it seems like he wants to see, he's saying, okay, I know this guy's not bad.
Yeah, he's not bad.
And secondly, he wants to see what he can do. So let's wait. But he's like, let's see what this guy can do. Well, there's a dude with an Uzi just unloading a full magazine on him. And you're like,
oh, I want the alternate deal where the guy just gets shot by the Uzi pepper. Goes, yep, he didn't work out.
Shit. Maybe sorry about
some
that.
weird way of explaining things. Like, that's what happens. The guy, and I don't mind his look, but you end up where again there's going to be the Tom Taylor little jokes and whatnot. Where he says it's an honor. Like he's like, oh man, this is an honor. So
I know who you all are. This is an honor.
Yeah, and it's weird that he knows who Oliver is, but thought he was going to kill somebody with that arrow. But whatever. And he goes, oh man, I'm Prion. Oh, what's that? And then Batman goes, it's a marine bird. Oh, man, you know a lot about birds. He knows a lot about everything. Oliver's such a jerk. He's like, he knows a lot about everything.
That was a great line. He knows a lot about everything. It seems like a cool trick at first, but it gets annoying really fast.
Yeah, it was okay.
That's totally what Ollie was saying too, because they don't, they're not besties, those two.
So they end up going, as they do, on the rooftops. Black Canary seems sexed up about Prion. I wanted Oliver to get more mad, but it's the idea.
She's like, unless you have someone that does your sewing for you, I'll do it, Prion.
Yeah, because he says, he goes, I got to work on my costume. The feathers are flying all around. First off, they should be like, don't use real feathers. First, you don't have to go full authentic. But he's like, I'm learning how to do this. And it's just whatever. It's the introduction. So obviously they still stick around with him. I don't know how it will jump through a lot of time.
I think we'll jump through a lot.
Yeah. So, and he says, I'm not sure if I'm in the hero business, because Oliver starts being nice. It's like, listen, you're going to learn how to use thread and needle, buddy, because that's the big part of the deal. You're going to have to find a costume repair shop. And he's like, I'm not in the hero business. I don't know if I am. And then Batman goes, you were today. I'm telling you, it's very, a lot of this is very cheesy, but it's fine.
It's cliche. It's a little bit cliche, but it's fun. It's fun. It works. And it's because it's back in the day that it works, right?
And then Black Canary says, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, okay, stop. So you end up then cutting to when it is the 10 years. So they end up cutting.
10 years since he died. We don't know how long they worked together.
It's weird, though. It just says, 10 years since he died. It's weird. I wish we knew how long maybe they spent, but we'll see. I'm assuming he's got to be old enough for us to think he might have had Ghost Kid, but we'll have to see. But ends up where you have this play and they go out to now we're going to joke about the car. And I'm telling you right now, we've had parts where, Bruce Wayne shows up a lot of places, right? The minute he shows up, they know it's Bruce Wayne. One of the things in the main Batman book, like when he goes in the hospital, everybody knows, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne, it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, because he's that famous.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne having a hatchback makes it more attention grab. Like if you see Bruce Wayne, he's got a hatchback, you're like, look at that. He goes, I do this when I don't want to attract attention. No, when you don't want to attract attention, you probably have a stretch limo. That ain't going to attract it.
I think he means like when he's driving down the street.
It's only to make
people
jokes.
aren't going to think it's.
But it's
a fun joke. The hatchback. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of
fun. I got sick of it after the first 6 pages because then the hatchback. I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah, that's great. Hatchback. I love it.
Yeah, I don't. Batman didn't love it either. Again, I'm not here for little jokes and a story that's not being set up. I want the story to be set up, and instead we're talking about the hatchback. And I also want Barbara to say why she isn't in the Nightwing book anymore. Still wondering about that one. But
somebody go, hey, what's up with you and Dick?
Yeah, exactly. She's like, well, I still like Dick, but not Dick Grace. That's what she'd say. Yeah. But you end up where they get in the hatchback, and he's like, hey, it's a Batmobile. It's what it needs to be. That's the joke as well. And they're just going to go, and they run the facial recognition from it. Batman was hiding behind that tree, taking pictures and video, and they know who the lady is. They already kind of did, but they end up where she doesn't leave. She's a recluse. She doesn't leave her house. There's barely.
She's some old money recluse, maybe related to royalty, and the ghost girl. There's no information.
There's no information. So the mystery is cool. The mystery with it is also like this lady doesn't leave her house. She left the house to go get this girl. Like that seems big already. And also the guys, the security, they're on the up and up. Never have anything wrong. They're ex-military kind of deal. No criminal history. Like it doesn't seem they're doing anything bad, but they don't know who this girl is. And she is, on the deal where they're like, they can't find anything. She does not exist. And that's kind of cool. By the end, again, that mystery to me and the Prion stuff is enough. This Oliver Queen thing, and I said, I think it's only to get Oliver in town. And now Tom Taylor's just like, well, I have to kind of keep that going, but it's just generic. And then it's, oh my God, we have the next guy going because they put a tracker on that guy. And now, we see where things are kind of converging, where this last guy, and lo and behold, these 2 other people died. I would believe you might want to keep an eye on that last guy, maybe already go get him, but they're like, oh my God, he's being moved. You got to go. There's going to be problems. And
I think this whole story construct here is just to be here to say that, like, obviously because they're going to connect, otherwise we wouldn't be having these 2 stories in the same arc. Right. So it's just like, this is the thing that the ghost girl Peril is doing. I don't know. We don't have any information yet, but because we're still setting it up. So, yeah, we'll get to
I'm guessing right now, I'm making a bet. It does not connect. That's just a thing that's going on with Oliver. He's there. It's a side thing that he has to take care of.
Spending an awful lot of time on it if it's something that's not related to the Prion business.
Even then, when you get Ghost Girl, who, if it's connected and all this, she doesn't seem concerned with those guys. She doesn't seem concerned with the guy. She's just there to push Oliver off a building. We'll see Hans Gruber him. It's not like she's like, oh, there, but it felt weird. She's there because of Oliver. I just think that this is a side thing that they're doing. And then in the meantime, they'll figure out this. Because again, when you go, oh, guess what? Prion, he was originally one of the AI developers, or he did this company. It doesn't seem like it's going that direction.
I don't know. We just have to wait and see. My assumption is that they're going to connect. Otherwise, you wouldn't spend this much time.
Yeah, I'm betting you a pizza right now that the connection is just, Oliver has to take care of this, and he wants to AI bad. Ooh, whatever. But you have this guy. Again, it's funny when you get these guys that are being transported. You forget that these are like accountants and things like this. This guy with this little sweater vest and things like. For some reason, I'm expecting they're going to go, and it's like some big guy. No, it's just this guy, and he's in the back with his seatbelt on. He's like, hey, we're going. Like, hey, we'll get you there. Not very long, Mr. Muniz. And then all of a sudden, there's problems, which we would expect. Batman's getting there, but he's not there, and this police car cuts off this armored truck and runs it off a bridge into the water. Again, that seems to be the plan of they're dead now. They don't know Batman's on the case, though. So Batman and the Hatchbat, he ends up, even Oracle says, hey, they ran the thing off the bridge. He's like, yeah, we see it. He jumps in. It's very Batman, James Bond-esque, where you have the Hatchback jump in and it becomes everything he says. He keeps saying, it's what I need it to be. And then they get the breathers to go out. Batman with the idea, seriously, legit, you have to explain it, I guess. You give the signal for Dinah, blast that thing. You don't need to go through the whole technical bit of, well, if we do this, these people are drowning at the point. But she does use the canary cry and blast open the deal. Yeah. And they end up, and she goes in, Canary goes in, grabs the one lady. They get it. And he says, I'll get this Muniz. Cool too, by the way. Yeah, I'll get Muniz. You end up getting the detective and the driver. And they do that. They bring him up on shore. And then Batman says, hey, go back in the water. He's like, the water? I mean, you were already in. He's like, this is a submarine. You were already underwater in this hatchback already. Oliver's a little dim, but he's kind of a cool character to do that. Like, there are characters that you can explain things to. He's so just ridiculous. That's kind of his charm. But he's like, it's a submarine. I'm like, dude, I wish Batman said, we jumped off the bridge into the water. What did you think it was then? I thought it was, I don't know what he would have thought.
He probably just thought he was just wrecking the car.
Yeah, just wrecking the car, I guess. But yeah, you end up, again, when you're with Batman and you end up with the idea, you kind of assume that shit works.
Yeah, my assumption would be that every car he has turns into a submarine.
Yeah. Every single one. Into everything. And I want
into a plane, turns into a submarine.
Somehow I want it to be like, how'd you get this tech? And somehow Batman stole it from Oliver Queen. He's like, I got it from Queen Industries. So he's going, and they go to Leslie. He said earlier, it's kind of an odd deal. Like, yeah, you want to check him out, and you don't want him in the open because he is kind of wanted by this CEO. He wants to kill him. I say you take him right to the Batcave. The big play, I think, is even when look at him. The guy, when I first read it, I thought he was picking his nose, but he's adjusting his glasses. He doesn't look injured. Like, it's not like the idea is passed out. He's he seems okay. He's not crying, right? But they take him to Leslie to check. But the real check wouldn't just be, okay, you have a concussion. The real check is, why did these other people die of quote unquote natural causes? Does this guy, and that's beyond
right. That's what Leslie. They do. But also, real quick, that picture where he's adjusting his glasses, look how small he is compared to everybody
He's so
else.
small.
He's a little guy.
He's slunched.
Wait, hold on.
He's slouched down.
Is that Jim? Jim, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. Picking my nose. I got my glasses on. I'm like, what the hell? There's no way I'm parting my hair
Did you model for this one?
That'd be the best. I'm like, here I am.
I didn't know they drew you in another
parting my hair. Yeah. I'm looking for
Who parts their hair in 2026?
It's weird, too. No, nobody. But I'm looking. Is there a bald-ass bitch in this one? But you end up where they go to Leslie. Again, it's cool. That's classic.
Yeah, right? But to your point, though, like why would he take him to Leslie? That's kind of weird. I mean, okay, you could make the argument he wants her to do a medical checkup, and as smart as Bruce is, he's not actually a medical professional, which is, I guess, fair. But
he does. He checks himself at the Batcave as well.
Yeah, and he the Batcave has all kinds of crazy scanners and shit. Like you could, I don't know. And it's also kind of weird when Black Canary's like, "Oh, I'll keep him safe at the gym, at Wildcat's gym," and you're like, "Just put him in the Batcave." Yeah. Like, why aren't we doing that? Like that, I can't think going on. That's got to be way safer than just some random gym where this dude's gonna stick out like a sore ass thumb.
And even if people say, "Oh, well, he doesn't have Wayne," if we go with he still has his building. He still has his mansion that he got the separate one. And it's nonsense. Like the idea that says, "Hey, Leslie, you better go check on them because these others died of natural causes." What is she checking? It's Leslie Thompson. She goes in and says, "Hey, you feel okay?" Because now you're expecting her to run out. He had a heart attack, something like that, but you don't get that. It's just odd. So it's like, hey, and he says, and again, here's where you go. I was going to ask you, I never remember the CEO, Richard Klepp. It's like, I shouldn't ask Richard Klepp because
the very on the nose Klepp.
Yeah, exactly. Prefix. So and then it's the he's supposed to testify in 2 days. Oh, the Klepp Corp and Queen Industries takeover meeting is still on today. Yes, it is. I like Oliver's just like, I wanted Oliver to be like, I guess. And then he's like, so we don't know what this is yet. Don't take your suspicions into the meeting. He goes, what? I can't ask him if he's killing people. All righto. And he goes off and he's just going to piss him off. So you end up where, again, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be kind of badass. You go off.
It's a fun little corporate power play by Ali. The guy came in here. He makes him meet at the top of this building that got exploded. Was this the building from the first arc?
I don't know because it's the Theramis building that they're redoing. Yeah. This is why I said I don't think it's full out Queen Industries. This is just his side thing. That it might be, and it's a little. I think it is. Whatever.
Yeah, I think Oliver bought it after. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. Point is, he makes him meet in this thing, and Ollie's like, "Yeah, here's our offer for you to buy the company." It basically just says "fuck you."
It says fuck you or fuck off, whatever it would be. You see kind of the "fu" in it as well as he hands it to him. Yeah. And he's like, he says, this is on official company letterhead and everything.
I like the pose that Ollie's in. Like, he's like a serious business.
Yeah.
He's like, everything okay? Taking time to read it. It only says 2 words.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fun. I thought this was like some fun little Ollie banter. Ollie just being a straight up dickhead to this guy that he hates.
I think
you can make the argument that it's over the top, like you were saying. He's like, you're theft of IP, environment, social harm, unchecked expansion, takeover, blah blah blah. My company's good PR, and that's why you wanted to buy it, and you can fuck out of here. And oh, by the way, the elevator's broke. Take the stairs. Yeah. It's 40 floors. Better get walking.
Your time's money. Better get walking. When they're doing it, the guy's like, I wish I was this guy, this Klepp, is because Oliver does say, like you said, hey, you theft of IP, coupled with environmental and social harm. I'm like, social, massive, unchecked. I thought I went to God, man, I thought me killing people was bad. Like, the idea, like, holy moly. Like, I'm a straight up murderer and you're worried about that? Man, this life is great. Like, you're holy crap. Even if the guy said something like, argue back, the guy's like, this is the future. You can't stop it. He's like, oh, I'm going to stop it. Fuck you. And like, but you lose track in this. I think that he's such a generic guy that I think some people are just like, I don't know what this guy fucking did. And
I don't think you really need that much more. He's a scummy AI businessman.
Again, the big play of it is he's murdering like the thing that people. Ollie hates. I mean, he's murdering people, and Oliver does he can't say that, but boy, he is really upset about other things than the guy's a straight up murderer. Also, seems to be corrupt in a way that he's going to be on trial, but he's so mad about that because Tom Taylor hates that AI. But again. It just is something to throw out there and never ends up going. I don't know. I would guess that he better go because damn right, there's no way Batman at points, that Batcomputer probably was using AI in the 60s. Like he probably in this universe, Bruce Wayne Industries probably is the biggest developer of AI the way that he does his stuff. But he's, he makes them walk. the elevator's broken. You're going to have to walk, take the stairs, assholes, and slams the door. And he turns around, and there's the girl from the graveyard. And he's like, holy shit, like, what are you doing?
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah. He says, you're from the graveyard. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Which is interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting because then it's like, but why would she deny it?
Yeah.
Like, that's very odd.
I'm guessing that with this, I mean, the only thing, if you want to connect things, that she's some fucking AI ghost or something. I don't know.
We'll just have to wait and see. So I'm very curious about what her deal is.
But she seems like she's like reborn, she's like a thing. Like she's not lying. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, this is where we reveal that she's definitely a baddie, right?
Yeah,
last issue, we're like, boy, that was odd. She thought Prion was a piece of shit. Batman and everybody else thought he was a hero. That's interesting. I wonder where that's going to go. Here we see she's a straight up baddie because she lures Ollie over to the side. And then, like, he's like, hey, step away from there. And then she just straight up chucks him off the roof.
I also thought at one point she had a huge wooden staff because it's like a crack in the wall, but she looks like she's holding it throughout. And I'm like, does she have some big, like, wizard staff? But no, and the other thing, again, she doesn't say anything about these guys. So now I'm wondering the connection. And if it is a connection of, she's an AI cyborg, that because Oliver, if he dies here, they would report it as probably suicide. Natural enough. But so is she going around and scaring the shit out of people and having them have heart attacks? Is she part of this? But it's a weird play that if it is,
we got to wait and see.
It's a weird play because this setup of this CEO clap, you would have assumed the guy thought he was going there to sign some papers and do it. It wouldn't be like, oh, hey, ghost girl that I control, I need you here to do it. It's weird.
Which seems to imply that she's not actually working for Clef.
Yeah,
which
is weird. But the only thing that I can think is,
hopefully it plays out.
These people dying of natural causes now seems like it could be her. She says this one was an easy one. This isn't the first one.
Yeah, it seems like it.
If it ends up being something like that, I will fucking lose my mind. The idea of connecting it is, Prion, this, and then this girl died, but they made her an AI because he didn't want to. It just seems weird, but we'll see. We'll see how it ties in. I don't know. I didn't really love this. There's some, the highlights are the little jokes. The story itself still isn't going anywhere.
We've layered some mysteries. We're gonna have. We've gotten a little bit more information about Prion. Not much, but we've gotten a little bit. We've layered on some mystery with this ghost girl or whatever she is, and this lady. And we had some fun action scenes and some some humor. I got a kick out of the hatchback. It was pretty funny. Ollie telling Ollie's corporate power play was fun. The dialogue was snappy between them and it went well. Yeah, it was a big step up from last issue. I had a good time with it.
Nah, I didn't. What would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm a 5. Just a regular 5. And here's the thing. Prion, I don't like. I don't know anything about him. I'm guessing you're supposed to like him. We better get to that. I don't care about the CEO. Don't even I just don't care. And the girl I'm interested in. So there's like 3 things involved, and 2 of them I really don't care. Prion's good because I want to know what the connection of the girl is. But that's it. It's not like I'm like, oh man, that's a cool character. I want to know more about him. That's just, again, another tool to get to me to say, the girl interests me. I think that's really cool, and to see how it connects and all that. But the Oliver and the CO thing, it's such a non thing for me that I don't care. And that's where he's killing people, but you're not focusing enough on him. I really like that. Actually, what I want to say is I really want to hate this guy, but I don't care about him. I don't think he's a great guy. Just don't care. And so when you get this, it's just kind of going through the motions to maybe, hey, let's see what Ghost Girl's up to, because she seems pretty cool. She seems
we just got to see where we're still at the point where we've got to see where it goes. We don't have, we don't know yet. He's still layering on mysteries, and we've just got to see where it goes.
That's the other thing. The other thing in the back of my mind is usually these stories have started better and ended worse, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, last arc was good. It was okay. The first one was bad.
That was awful. That was awful.
The second one was not good.
I'm assuming this is 6 issues, so we have plenty of time. If it's not 6, then I'll start
That's why I'm willing
more.
to give it. That's why I'm willing to give it some time. I mean, he seems to be mostly running 6-issue arcs in this. I think that Penguin one was a little bit kind of like a shorter one. But yeah, I mean, if we're doing 6-issue arcs, it seems like he's going very traditional, writing for the trade kind of deal. And we've still got a long way to go. So we're still setting things up. And
I want to look. I want to see it. I'm like, oh, guess what? It ends next issue. That's happened before where I'm like, oh, man, this must be, oh, God, it ends. I don't think that's the case. But I also don't.
Yeah, if it ends next issue, then it's going to be very rushed and underwhelmed.
The other thing, though, is like, you have this book. It's detective. People are talking in the Slack about, like, nobody ever brings this up. Nobody ever mentions this book, it seems. And I just don't think that many people must be reading it, which is, it's kind of odd because it's Detective Comics, but we'll have to see how it goes. But we're going to go to the next book, which is Green Lantern. Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird deal. Again, at least Detective is trying to feel like it matters and is important. This book, Jeremy Adams it's like, yeah, let's just, keep it cool and jump between stories. But this thing with Kyle Rayner, very, very odd.
It's this overall thing that he's doing now for this new era of the book is like we're splitting our time between this like Kyle Rayner and Hal Jordan stories, and the problem is we just don't have any momentum in either.
Yeah,
like we're not going anywhere. We're not progressing the plot at all. It's like it's just we're having like. And we're going to talk, you and I are going to talk later about Flash but it's later for us to record.
Yeah.
It'll be earlier in the timeline on the podcast.
So that's actually on the spotlight. So most people
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So people have already heard it. So it's kind of weird to timey-wimey shenanigans. But like, that's like a dumb fun time, that book. And it seems like Jeremy Adams is kind of going for that here. But the thing is like in the Flash, we're progressing the plot. And in this book, we're not. So we don't have any momentum here. It's just like, hey, Kyle Rayner goofs around for half an issue, and Hal Jordan goofs around for half an issue.
And it's weird.
There's stuff in here that like feels like it should be big, but it kind of doesn't feel big. And so it just kind of, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't hate this issue, but it's just kind of like, I put it down. I was like, that was fun, but it didn't go anywhere.
Here's the weird thing.
That's the best way I would sum this up. It's fun, but it doesn't go anywhere.
They announced at a point, like they kind of like people kind of got pissed. They said this is going to be a Kyle Rayner book, and then I don't know what happened because if it is, I mean, you still have to do the Hal Jordan story. But I thought, oh, he's going to be disappeared for a while, and then we'll find out. But it almost like they hem and hawed and said, no, we can't totally get because it's not just a Kyle book. Like I did see people like. This is bullshit. He's still in it.
And I want it to be. I would rather it be just a Kyle.
That's what I'm saying. So in this, I think, and you're saying, oh man, goofing around. I don't think that Jeremy Adams would actually think that the Hal Jordan part is good. He's quipping. But I think he's like, that's a dark, intense story. So, but it isn't. And the problem is then the Kyle stuff that was seemingly was going to be the book, it's comic relief. And when you get the comic relief in it, it's too much. Like it ends up where he is in LA just to collect these 7 guys. And I don't need Kyle's story because even the way it's presented, it feels like the main story, right? Because it seems like there's more page and you start with it. So you're like, okay, let's go. With.
I don't know which one gets more page count. I didn't count it, but I bet if you add it up, it's probably evenly split.
I don't know because again,
or it might even be more Hal.
I don't think it is. I'm going to look now. We have 1, 2, 3. Like when Hal goes, you only get like 3 pages, usually at a point. There's 4. Then you get a bunch of nonsense. Then you get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, because there's a lot of running. 10, 11. It's actually split evenly. But in the meantime, Hal doesn't do much. So I think neither does Kyle. But it's just an odd play.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? In both stories, nobody really does much.
No.
That's kind of the thing.
Hey, I'll tell you, even though Kyle's getting a guy to go back to the science cell in the beginning, the Hal thing does seem bigger because it's that book of, and you saw this. Well, Kyle's just hanging around. It's Odyssey stuff, which, again, I think it's supposed to be the comedy relief, but nothing really hits. They're just kind of meandering.
It's fine. It's fun enough. It's just, we're not, I don't know. We're just not going anywhere with either story. That's kind of the issue. And also the art took a big step back.
Jesus Christ, the art's terrible. But you end up where, again, I don't know. I think that fun enough in a story now with especially Hal that's lasted issue upon issue upon issue with, hey, hard traveling heroes. It's not enough for me. The fun enough is okay. But when I get done and I feel like, Jesus Christ, again, the idea of it being empty calories, that's what it feels like. It feels like I just got done something and I didn't get any nourishment from it. And believe me, I know what that's like because that's every meal for me. But at the end, I'm like, yeah, what did we get? And you can sit like, okay, that's kind of fun with Kyle, but is it? And the idea of how, like, there's some weird stuff. I'll give you the credits. And I'll tell you, where the art really goes south is when suddenly they dress Scott Snyder up as Hal Jordan. Holy moly, you see Hal Jordan? He's like I'm not going to say that, I don't want to shave the guy, but he ain't no Hal Jordan. You see handsome Hal Jordan, and then you see this guy? I don't know what happened. It's written by Jeremy Adams.
I noticed it when Kyle shows up, you're like, who the is that?
It's more cartoony, but it's not
very cartoony.
It's not great.
Not good way though.
No,
not in a good way.
And it's Ed Guerrera, who I've seen before. I guess it's because the book has looked gritty.
It's almost got a sort of Rossmo-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Not quite that bad, but it's like you take cartoony and then mix it with like 15% Rossmo. And that's what you get, and it's just not good.
Next thing, I'm bleeding out of my eyes. It's not that bad. I mean, I'm telling you, you can get through it, but it ends up where you're just like,
it doesn't.
Man, that looks weird.
That's for sure.
Yeah. It's Green Lantern number 34, written by Jeremy Adams, art by Ed Guerrera and Montos, colors by Romalo Fajardo Jr., letters by Dave Sharp. And I'm not the biggest Montos fan, but I'm like, please, let's get more Montos in here. Assistant editor Jillian Grant, editor Kathleen Wisniewski. Yeah, and I guess we're going to have these cold opens because he needs, this is what, the second guy we got a bunch.
I think so.
He gets sent to L.A. to take care of these 7 guys. Like, these guys love L.A. Play that old song by Randy Newman. He's there, and it's Gridlock. This guy's like, it's not my real name. I made it up, but it's Gridlock. Oh, my God. There's some quippy deal of like, hey, this guy's stopping traffic. Oh, I'm Gridlock. Well, that checks. And then you go, and then Kyle shows up. Now, again, it's a cold open, right? But it does last a while. And so he's taking it down.
The fight goes on for a few pages.
Yeah,
for sure.
Gridlock, like, you got to make him a threat, right? So he says, hey, what I do is I grab this crazy energy. And I'll tell you something when we're done that might make you mad. But the idea of this all going on, he's grabbing energy out of these electric cars. He can get this, energy out of things and use it to attack. But in the meantime, he has destroyed worlds.
Yeah.
He is gone and got
he's got trans-absorbed. Yeah. He pulls energy and elements in his body to repurpose his weapons. Like, I don't know what that means, but okay. And then he says, I melted the core of a planet, killed everyone that lived there. It took 10 lanterns to take me down. And
there's where we have a problem.
And you're like, wow.
Yeah. You're like, holy crap.
Like,
this guy has destroyed planets. He says he's going to do that to Earth. The last time when he got put in that sign cell, and he doesn't want to go back, obviously, it took 10 lanterns to take him down. 8 died. 8 lanterns got killed to take him into a sign cell. So you're like, holy crap, what is Kyle going to do? Lo and behold, he makes a construct of a golf club and hits the guy. Were these 10 lanterns morons? What were they doing? 10 lanterns trying to... Now, if he said, I killed 10 lanterns, but by the way, that was after I absorbed the core of a planet. And I think it's just the idea of him pushing himself. And then Kyle just takes him down with a golf club. And
golf club and a giant
mallet. Again, this is a guy...
Which also doesn't really feel like Kyle.
That's what I was just going to say. This is a guy...
It's a little nitpicky, but...
It isn't. This is a guy who, as this is going on, is explaining how he's glad to get back to L.A., to get back to his art, and to do his things. And yet his constructs are a golf club. And I would think that at this point,
they feel more like Hal constructs.
Yeah, they're Hal. And that these should be more cartoony, extravagant things, because that's also on his mind of what he's doing. But there's no real setup of, how can he take care of this guy? Gridlock. Even then, if he made a big, semi-truck, that's Hal as well. It's just basic bitch. And this guy, it would
be better if it was like, I don't know, it was like a Gundam that blasted him off or something like that.
And something that this
lean into the goofy anime fan
it's on his
stuff.
mind. And when he does it, Gridlock is like, what the hell? Like, almost like he's like, man, that looks cool. Something to get him off his game. But he just told us 10 lanterns it took. And he hits him with a golf club and then bashes him with a mallet. Done. I'm like, well, that was what it was. And this is...
I did like the helicopter announcer guys basically being like wrestling announcers.
Yeah, that's all they were.
He's
again,
like, a devastating blow by Green Lantern.
Because Jeremy Adams loves wrestling. I actually thought we were going to get, what's his name? Fucking wrestle
Omega Bandman?
Yeah, I thought he was going to show up somehow because he is. He's going to be in the next one of the next couple issues. In the meantime, maybe he'll be one of the escapees. It'd be kind of funny. But in the meantime, if this is the creativity you're going to give us with these escape guys, you're only started this. If this was the 7th one and I'm like, yeah, he just wants to get out. I don't know. We've got like 5 left. You got to be a little more creative in this of just being a cold open to have your action scene. Because then you get out of that and it's just then later and there's Kyle and Odyssey. They're walking down the street and this sleazy guy who might act like, if this ends up, this could be Pauly Shore. But he's a director. The idea where he's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, my God, you're so hot. You got to be in the movies. I like that Kyle thinks he's talking to him. He's like, oh, my. But he says, and they're bitching him out. They need to have some money. They need to get jobs. The idea of, Odyssey keeps saying, I could steal shit. No, you're not allowed to steal stuff. And then this guy out of nowhere is like, man, you want to be a star? This is straight up porn. I'm waiting for her the next day because, you're going. Even the name they give of the girl who quit seems like a porn star name to me.
This is Casting Couch. This is like I get skeezy vibes instantly because they're like, we're desperate for money. He's like, he sees the girl walk by. He's like, wow, wow, boom.
Yeah.
And then runs up to her. How would you like to be a star? I'm like, this is porn. I don't know how we're getting away with porn in this comic right now.
I don't know.
That's
if you're going to do it, the famous porn deal I said to you before we started is that play of like a cover. It's a big Barda. And Superman, at one point, we're supposed to have a point like maybe play that up, but I don't know what they're doing. And also, here's the deal: I could hit. I don't even think I have the ding sound because what's is it? Oh God, I can't even remember. I can't remember anything. It got deleted off the board. That's what I was going to say. So I don't have it, but I'd hit it because we got sandals, we got a skeezy mustache, and a Hawaiian shirt. This guy's up to no good. He's up there, and for some reason, I couldn't remember Jason's name. He'll be mad at me. He deleted it off the board, so I can't think sound it. But this guy's like, you want to be a star. And then it's a good switch. I mean, the swipes over are pretty good.
Yeah, like the scene transitions are good.
Yeah, but who's that? I don't know who said, come on in this. That doesn't look like the Kyle Rayner that I know. Like, look at it's bad. But you go off and then you get the whole deal with Hal. And he's going to joke about Star Trek. And, Star Trek is a joke in my mind. But the idea of, Stargate, this and that.
Shots fired.
I can't stand it. But yeah, and again, I think Hal probably is more of a Star Wars fan because he's like, Stargate, well, I don't know what the fuck that shit is. Like, I never figured it out, but I'm like, get to it. But they end up where they have to stop for supplies. They end up where, hey, we're on a trip to nowhere. We don't know what's happening. But me and Jana, we got to stop for supplies. They do stop. They start working around. You see tentacles. And then all of a sudden, Hal's just lifted out off the deal like a tractor beam, like a real cool thing like Star Wars. So he gets straight. You don't know what's going on.
Beams in Star Trek.
Yes. Do they? They should track their audience. That's why they got canceled. But yeah, you end up where he gets lifted.
Oh my God.
And you end up where Jane is like, form a pterodactyl. She mentions again she's looking for her brother. So that's fine. And Hal gets thrown in, and this look of Hal's is so off. But he gets thrown into this, what would you call it? This tower. And there's the Guardian. And they're old. And I'm confused.
Yeah. Because he says they're younger now, but they look old as shit. They look like regular old Guardians.
This is where I think he makes a mistake. Jeremy Adams wants to tell a joke instead of saying what is going on. Because he says at one point, at this point, you just have, you shouldn't have come. First off, he really didn't. Or maybe he did, but that's his own personal deal. But they were just stopping for supplies. if you are on the down low here, Guardians, you're the one that brought him to you. Like, if you didn't want him keep him away. But in the meantime, when we get back to it, he says, what, you're not working on the moisturizer? As if your skin is now old and no, don't tell a joke. Have him say, why are you old? The last time you disappeared again, which is, these Guardians disappear more than my wife. And you end up where you're just like, what the hell? But he's telling jokes. But then you go back, you swipe again, and you go back to the crazy, director. And even as he's talking, I'm like, now I really think it's porn, because he's talking about all these things and how, hey, it's my vision and all this. He just seems like just a piece of crap, but it's kind of fun, right? And he says we were supposed to shoot, but we can't. He calls the studio.
He's not even, I don't think he's the director, right? He's the financier.
I think he's everything. I think he's the director, financier. I think he does everything because it's such a low budget nonsense thing. But we'll see. Because he's like, hey, if you don't like it, then fire me. But tomorrow we're showing up to the set and shooting this thing. I think he's, like the whole deal where he does everything. But he's like, studios, am I right? I'm like, okay, look at this guy. But then he's like touching her. I'm like, this guy is shady as hell. I like that Kyle wants to be the bodyguard, not the personal assistant. But he's like, yeah, whatever. But he says, listen, my vision and this deal, and this girl left to do this superhero movie, and it was bullshit. And it's okay. Again, it's okay, but it's nothing. And you kind of want something. It's kind of goofy. I do like Odyssey. She still wants to steal shit. I said when I was reading this to myself, is that going to be the place she's on the set? And she goes to Kyle like, I stole 5 sandwiches from that table over there. And Kyle's like, that's catering. We're allowed to have those. Something weird. I don't know what you're going to do. And again, I was looking for the girl because he ends up saying her name at one point. I'm like, I think that girl is a porn star too. But yeah, it's like, we're going to shoot and the cameras are going to lump you, all that stuff. Will you? Oh, yeah. And also it's Mayday Madeline. I'm like, yeah, you're porno. So she's like, how much does it pay? And he writes out a check, hands it to her. And she's like, is that a lot? And Kyle's like, yeah, that's a lot. And then she just goes out of zero. And he does. I'm like, man, she's good at negotiation.
Got some money.
Yeah, exactly. So Jesus Christ, like doing all this stuff. But again, it's going to be fun. I like Odyssey. She's pretty funny.
I like Odyssey.
And I
just want more of her background and who she is. And I would like to get that instead of, as opposed to, her on the casting couch. But, yeah, I mean, this is like fun little stuff. I enjoy it enough. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Hopefully it doesn't go in the casting couch. I don't need that.
Well, you had the last girl, Cassidy Chase. I'm like, yeah, I think she might be a porno star too. I don't think it's going to go casting couch. But if it did, she would beat the crap out of this guy. This guy's done. Like, the idea again,
for sure.
This is the weird thing. Like, I don't know. I think that Jeremy Adams has made me not expect much each issue from this book, because this book does less than what we got in Detective Comics, but it doesn't upset me. And it's not just because I'm having fun. It's just because this is what we get. This is when we had hard traveling heroes where you had issue after issue of Hal saying, oh, I'm going to go talk to Oliver. I'm going to go talk to Batman. Nothing happened. And each time it didn't happen. It was just the idea of, oh man, that Hal's a good guy. And Batman really kind of does like him. Oh my God, he gets along with Flash, but you never really did anything. So I'm kind of like set in that mode where maybe it's the idea of a Batman book and detective that I want more, because it should be bigger, but this should be big too. And the Hal stuff is big, but it isn't because you're not playing it up that way. It's such a slow burn. And really, if I said to people at this point, hey, what is it that happened to Hal and what's going on? Yeah. Oh, we had a vision from the Book of O. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, it's very ambiguous and kind of generic the way it is. But yeah, so there's going to be a movie. So then you go back to Hal, and again, Hal's quipping it up. So, and also, I love it though. He does get bitch slapped by one of the Guardians.
Yeah,
pretty
that was
good.
crazy.
Yeah,
These Guardians are, see, I think this is part of the issue, is that like this whole Guardians thing felt really weird.
It never felt right for the past bunch of years. They disappeared. I know. They came back as babies, and then here they're old bitch slapping Hal. I don't know what to think of it.
That's not I don't even necessarily mean like the old young, the reborn, blah blah blah, and playing off the Grant Morrison Green Lantern run, which is nonsense. I'm not even I just mean like okay, Hal's gotten a vision from the Book of Oa. At the same time that happens, the Guardians disappear. All of a sudden, he just runs into him here, which if you wanted to be nitpicky, you would say that seems awfully coincidental and kind of bullshit. But we also know that Hal has this like internal compass that's like drawing him. It probably drew him here, right? Like, so that makes sense. I'm okay with that. But then, like, all of a sudden, they're just like, "You're gonna threaten the whole universe," and like bitch slap them, and you're like, "What the hell is happening here?"
And again,
and like, it feels like this should be really big. Like the Guardians missing is big. Hal running into them and them trying to kill him should feel real big. But it's just so discombobulating because it's just so.
I'll go with the idea and why I brought up the Jeffrey Thorne was a big deal where all of a sudden there's an explosion and the Guardians disappeared. They were gone. Then they come back with babies. I think at this point, nobody knows heads or tails of what the fuck's going on with these Guardians. So when you end up, the mystery of them is like, what are you just going to do next with these guys? Hal has to even explain the idea. Hey, when they came back as babies, as kids, each of them represented one of the Spectrum deal and whatever. I'm like, none of this was ever really clear because they always just keep disappearing. In the meantime, you also have Guy going around with the entities. Like it's a mess right now.
Well,
and
I mean, that's kind of the thing is that like this should feel really big. The Guardians are trying to kill Hal. I mean, that's been like whole story arcs before with the Green Lanterns. And so you're like, oh, this should be big. But like, it just doesn't feel like it because it feels so random.
It feels so random.
And they haven't been around. They haven't been doing anything. So like, you don't really feel like the Green Lantern Corps seems to be operating just fine without them. So it doesn't feel as big as it should. And it's also like the second story in this book, and the first story is a goofy story anyway. So like, just nothing's really landing. And like, I'm being kind of maybe a little bit harsh on it because like I did have fun with it. It's like the Red Lantern, he's angry because he's the Red Lantern. Like, starts bitch slapping Hal around.
But even then, I'm like when are you going to explain anything with these Guardians? They just
and Jaina turns into a pterodactyl and rescues them. Like this is like all crazy shenanigans that are fun, but like it just kind of makes it. I don't know. It's like by the time I got done with this issue, and we'll probably talk about it when we get to the final score of it. But it's just like I was like, huh, that was something.
That was a book.
I guess that was something.
That's what that's what this book keeps doing with me. Where I'm reading it and like you'll get a couple chuckles. You'll be like, oh, I like that character. But by the end, I'm like, what are we getting? Because like the idea of the Guardians, we don't know what's up with them, and the idea of why they're there, even why they're older, and all these things. Like I don't know that we're ever, because other times I've asked, what's going on with these Guardians, and then they disappear again, or they blow up, or they're just never telling us. And so when you get this, it just feels weird. Also, they don't seem to understand how, but yet they do, because bitch slap them quiet, and then like, hey. They don't know what Hal was shown. They say, we know that you saw something. It set you on this journey, but this knowledge is not for you. Now, what he did was, again, what it originally was. Remember, he opened up the Book of Oa, and in an ancient text, it had his name. And he's like, well, how the fuck was my name in the Book of Oa when I wasn't even me? I was like, how is this a thing?
Yeah, the Book of Oa is a historical record. It's not like the future and prophecy of what's going to happen. So it was weird.
Yeah, so it was
weird.
It's
been giving him weird visions.
And that's the weird thing.
Head.
The visions came after that, because at the original it was a cliffhanger or whatever. But he's like, oh, and I thought, okay, he's going to have to figure out why. Seems like timey-wimey shenanigans. Maybe go back. And so with that, though, he then suddenly had visions. We don't really know what those are. He went to Batman, and they don't know. How the fuck would they know?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was a paper-thin premise
reason
for
to
that
get
to
a hard-traveling hero type deal. So when we're there and Hal's going around, I still don't really know what he thinks he's doing. He is just aimlessly flying in a ship. Maybe something will pop up. And then when the Guardians end up, the knowledge isn't for you.
Well, he says that he's got some sort of like pull.
Yeah.
That is pulling him. Like
that's another ambiguous thing. I need to be centered on what do you think you're doing And what is it all about? And then they say, that knowledge isn't for you. I don't even know what his name in the book? Because so it's all.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all up in the air.
How is it dangerous for the whole universe? And that's kind of the thing. Like, we've gotten so little information about any of the stuff in this story arc, really, even since the Book of Oa appeared to Hal in the first place. So it's just like, this is what I mean when I talk about we're just not getting any momentum, any progression, not really much in the way of stakes.
Nothing.
You know, like the stakes don't feel big for the Kyle story, because it's just like goofy dudes goofing around in LA on Earth. And then you don't get much stakes here because it's like, Hal's like, I had this weird vision. I got to go see what it's about. And like, that's what we've been doing with that for and 6 issues now. I don't even know how many issues, 6 issues or so.
And you're right. And so again, it plays out the deal, and it's a mystery box. The longer you go with not showing anything, you end up, the ante better be up. By the time you reveal something, it has to be huge. I don't know that.
And just like having some kooky Guardian say, this knowledge isn't for you, it will end the universe, doesn't raise the stakes for me.
No.
Because these Guardians could be full of shit.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And you are usually, they're usually sus. They keep secrets.
Yeah, usually.
They don't tell. So you assume it again. Oh, here we go again with them. So anything they say could be a lie. And it's a mystery. And this is the idea of a mystery that drives you nuts. There's types of ways to make mysteries. The lack of information is not the greatest way. There's no clues.
No.
There's nothing. And even the idea of, it's just going to lead me to it is like, that's not great storytelling. And then when you get the Kyle stuff, the big play is, we send Kyle to LA. He's got to get the sign cells. In the meantime, we'll have good. But he's not struggling. You end up where a guy, again, the Guardians say that knowledge is going to destroy the universe. You have Gridlock say, I killed 8 lanterns, 10 had to take me down. And it's all lip service. And then it just doesn't mean anything. By the end, Kyle needs to struggle a bit. And I kind of wanted Odyssey to even get involved a bit in that whole fight and whatever. And they come up with a clever way to solve this. But it's just like, I'll get a golf club. And then in this, again, he's going to destroy the universe. And again, they're telling Hal, go back to Oa. Don't do this. Really? You know Hal? Like the real play should be, hey, Hal.
Well, he basically says that. Like, buddy. You guys are new, so don't. Yeah, don't.
But that's the thing, though. He says that, but they don't feel like they're new at points when they start talking about other things. And so you don't know. Like, they were babies, now they're old. One looks like Ganthet, but it isn't. All this stuff. And the idea, he says, hey, you don't know me, but I don't follow rules. I think they might have looked into that at some point. Like, they might have done a little research right on the top of Hal's file is, he doesn't follow rules or orders. So that'd be funny. Like, go and do it, Hal. That's what us Guardians want you to do. He's like, fuck this. I'm going back to Oa. I'm not doing what they want. But yeah, and then the pterodactyl comes in. You end up getting Jaina come in. It's cool. They go off. They're oh no, we got to get him. He must die. And, they're shooting their laser entity power. I'm telling you,
right,
they're
whatever.
Just doing something. They get back in the ship. But the big play is, oh no, the ship blows up. Well, plan B. And then you have a chase. I'm like, okay. And you see, somebody's trying to help them. I'm like, I wonder who it is. Like, this is crazy.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you're on this. They just randomly went to this planet. They ran out of gas and had to fill up, right? So,
exactly. And like you see, you're like, man, they look like they're in trouble. They're out of options. Somebody's going to save them.
Ring. The reason why a lot of this is going on, like Jaina having to save him, his ring is out of power. It's not charged. So he can't really use it.
I don't know why he can't use a lantern to charge it.
Well, I guess he can't get to his lantern. He doesn't have it, but that's such a thing that I get mad that we don't use that a lot anymore. Unfortunately.
But then when it shows up, you're like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, you're like, what the hell is going on? But you end up where they get pulled into this room. Yeah.
Well, you see this grenade roll out under the Guardians, and as soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, of course, somebody's going to save him. I wonder who it could be. That's crazy. And it blows up the Guardians, and he has them run into this room. The Guardians fly past. Then you get the page turn, and who the fuck is this?
This design is kind of neat. You can end up having him be like, if I look at him, I think he's a space pirate. Right? Man, this guy could be cool. He's doing this. Then he says his name, and I need the next issue to start with Hal and Jane are laughing because this is the worst. The guy's like, hey, it's me, Toby Y2K. I'm like, really? Could you come up with a worse name? The last son of Earth. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what is this guy? Is he going to be like, oh man, I love Earth and I've been doing this, or he's from an alternate dimension? The funny thing though, at the end, I just kind of laugh. I wasn't really like, oh man, that's cool. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like,
I literally got that. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, that was like my thought. I'm like, okay. And then I looked him up. He doesn't exist. He must be a new character.
Thing. So when I look at it, it's weird. Like what I see this guy being is Hell's Odyssey. That's all. Like Odyssey's there with Kyle. Hey, let's get this guy, Toby White. I'm like, yeah, I don't think we need this right now.
With the color scheme of the red and blue,
he looks like Superman and stuff.
He's clearly like there's clearly some Superman influence. Like maybe he's from the future. Maybe he's a man out of time. I don't know.
Weird.
We'll find out, I suppose. But
it's not very intriguing to me.
It has to be some timey-wimey stuff because he says Hal didn't know he was going to be here. So how could this guy know Hal was going to be there? And it specifically calls out Y2K, which is obviously very old school reference. Probably a lot of people listening to this podcast were babies. I don't know.
I had a Y2K problem, but I'll tell you in a little bit.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you now. Y2K, everybody thought, oh, my God, the computers are all going to mess up because the idea of switching over to the year 2000.
When the year switches over, it's going to be flash 0, 0. It's going to be on.
And it's going to, there's going to be, everything's going to, so I wake up at New Year's Day. And I'm like, oh, let's see. And I turn on my computer and I'm like, oh man, everything's great. Then I look, my man back in the day, the messenger. I'm like, oh, I got a message from my buddy Brett. I'm like, man, what's this? And I clicked, it was a virus. My computer got shut down. So I got Y2K'd by me being an idiot. It was something that he had some sort of, and it sent one of those like messages like, hey, click here and see this.
Scheme.
Yeah. And I'm like, boom. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, I did it myself. What an idiot. And I ended up having to get a new hard drive. I was pissed off. But yeah, so I got Y2K'd. Also, at the point, legit.
That's hilarious.
If people want to know why I was really mad getting towards Y2K, is because half the people would say YK2, and it would drive me up a fucking wall. I'm like, you don't even know.
Nobody said that.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Are you serious?
Yeah, all the time.
I was around in Y2K. Yeah, I was there. I was in high school. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I never heard anybody say YK2.
Yeah, because high school, the kids are probably more hip on the deal. I was a little older than you. And I'm telling you, there was a guy that me and Tanya knew that lived like this guy wanted to watch soccer with me. And if you ever watch like Premier League, that shit starts early. Like you got to get up early in the day if you're going to watch it live. And this guy would be knocking on the door at 6:30 a.m. to watch this fucking Premier League shit with me. And I didn't even like, but that's the guy constantly. YK2, that's coming up, that YK2. Yeah, you got to look at them. Fucking assholes. But yeah, I don't like a
bunch of idiots.
I don't like, first off, this Toby probably likes like fucking, what's her name? Rose Tico. And probably does things in the alleyway. I only know one Toby, and it was a guy who used to be on the podcast with us at times. That was a little sus. So yeah, the guy did some weird. Also, I talked about it recently. He was doing a Lego video talking about weird sexual things. I'm like, do you realize you're doing a Lego video? There's going to be a lot of younger people like, oh my God, this guy. I think, and he's from England. I still think talking to him on a podcast, somehow he gave me hepatitis. But you get Toby Y2K last time. We'll have to see what it is. Does this book need it? I don't know. But what would you give it?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6.5. It was fine.
Yeah,
it was.
I
had
6.
fun. Like, here's the thing. I had fun reading it, like I said, but it just didn't go anywhere, and it hasn't gone anywhere in a while, and I would just like to have a little bit more forward.
Yeah. At the end, you said if you're not talking about it or reviewing it, by the end, you could be like, okay, that was fine. I want to see who this Toby Y2K is. And man, I hope it's not a porno. But if you've been reading and have to talk about it for all these issues, and we're just not going anywhere. We're just kind of meandering. Yeah, the Guardians have upped the stakes with lip service, and Kyle just takes care of these guys. That seems like such a side deal of, oh man, I got to do this with Kyle. He's got to capture this one guy. And then where's the guy who just decides to start a new life and doesn't decide to ruin traffic? Shit like that. Like you're on the run.
He's like, Right. He's like, hey, I don't want to go back to the science cell, so I'm going to keep a low profile. He's like, nah, I'm going to start smashing traffic and threaten to blow up the whole world.
And legitimately on the planet that has the most Green Lanterns ever from there for some odd reason. Like they're even, why are you in LA? The play was like, everybody's crazy in LA. You'll just blend in, but you're not blending in when you're sucking energy out of a car and making things explode.
No.
So I wonder what the next guy's going to be. Omega Bam Man, maybe, but we'll see. He'll come and help.
I don't think Omega Bam Man is going to show up as a science seller.
No, he's going to help. Yeah. What it'll be is there'll be a guy, because remember that wrestling league is like a underground. They have to keep going places because they're kind of against the law.
Well, he's excommunicated from it. Remember, he's not part of it anymore.
I think that maybe he might become a bounty hunter or something, and that'll.
I think he's going to show up on Earth in LA looking
as
for
a wrestler.
He's like, you know what? Probably.
I'm here in the forum.
I think he's going to show up as like, hey, Kyle, bro, I need something to do, bro. Like, you got any,
You want to be a tag
Can I crash with you, bro? Like, he's going to crash on his couch or something like that.
Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro. And then we're good.
Bro.
We're good. So we got the basketball deal and stuff. So with that, though, a 6 and a 6. So it's just, we need more. But the art,
we're closing the gap. We're a little closer this time. We've been pretty far apart recently.
I think people are going to give us a little crap about how bad the art is, but it doesn't fit the book the way the art usually does. So it was just bad. But that's it.
It definitely, if we had better art, I might have maybe gone up to like a 7. It wouldn't have made the story any better, but I would have probably enjoyed it a little bit more if it looked more.
But it didn't.
I thought you were going to say that people are going to think that we hate each other now because we were talking shit about each other in the Slack. You were saying you were going to fight me.
Oh, yeah. I told Matt Razor that I was going to reach to the computer and strangle you. Is what I was going to do. I do want to make that. I said, way back, Derek, that's the device somebody needs to make. You need to make something where everybody on their computer has a boxing glove, and if I hit the thing, it hits you right in the face. Because that would stop a lot of the bullshit that goes on Twitter and Reddit. Like these fucking people arguing, then they're ducking. Bobbing and weaving.
Yeah, bobbing and weaving.
Like that'd be awesome.
Going.
Yeah. I'm telling you, even before I recorded,
I was a little disappointed. You didn't respond to my. I was a little disappointed you didn't respond to my GIF I had, where if you tried to punch me, I would just hold you at arm's length. You wouldn't be able to reach. Like
I didn't even see it. I would have been pissed off. I'm going to set up. That's the other thing that I said to Eric. I always wanted to have the comic book chicken wing eating contest at a Comic-Con. I thought that'd be fun. But the best thing is the Comic-Con Fight Club, where everybody goes. And so, Tom King, you don't like me? Yep, we're round 1. Me and Tom King going at it. But we could also have other reviewers. I mean, keep that going. It'd be awesome.
Comic Slam 4.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah, Comic Slam at 10,000.
Honestly, you just want this because you want to punch Eek Ad in the face.
I want to punch everybody.
Tom King in the face.
Everybody. What's it called? Tate Brummel. I got a vendetta against him. Punch him right in the face. And also,
I think your vendetta against Tate Bromhall is a little disproportionate.
Yeah, no, everything I've read has been a waste of fucking time.
I get it. I get the Tom King. I get some of the others. I get the people who have blocked you for no reason, the blockchain stuff.
That's the thing. I don't care. I care about my precious time. And I end up where
the Tate Bromwell, like his stuff hasn't been horrific.
Green Lantern Dark. That was a fucking waste of a year. And then the Batgirl, I love Cass. I can't read that book. I mean, that's my favorite Batgirl. She's a Batgirl, and I have to bail. I have to stop because it was so fucking awful, and that gets me angry. And then we'll see.
Is that book still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
Is it really?
I haven't read it since. Even then, you set up that she had a half brother. That was so cool. He ruined it. He ruined it right away, and it just I can't take it. Zach and me were doing it. Zach bailed before me. He's like, I'm done. I don't want to read this. And I'm like, maybe we can do it. I'll get somebody else. Tried to, and nobody was reading it, so I didn't do it. But that book is nonsense. But I also hate Dennis Camp. Me and him could fight.
Yeah, Dennis Camp. That's the other vendetta. Tom King,
Mark Russell.
Camp. I get.
Me and Mark Russell can fight, and then he can make a joke, and I'll punch him again. There's a lot of guys. I'm telling you, it would be disproportional of how many people I want to fight. I want to fight them all. Just line them up. Scott Snyder, I don't care.
Fight me.
Yeah, I'll fight you. I'll fight everybody. I'll just go one after the other and just end up with a broken nose, all that stuff. That's the problem, though. I've broken my nose 8 times already.
The funny thing is like, I seriously was wondering if people are like, oh my God, Brad and Jim hate each other. But like the part that you said you wanted to punch me in the face was actually recorded before the other stuff where we were just talking later and everything was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Eric used to get mad if I threatened violence on him. He gets a little crazy. And then at one point, the thing that he really didn't like was I would say something, I would like slap my own face. For some reason, he really didn't like that.
That's
coward.
Weird.
He is a
Why
coward.
would you slap
it's
your
like
own
a little
face?
Girl, that guy. I tell you, we ended up where somebody did find a picture of me and Eric and put it in it's on the Patreon, but in the chat room thing that nobody uses. And people were like laughing at Eric's arms. That was pretty funny. Pretty good. But
Is this still on there?
Yeah. They were talking about my massive.
I never checked the Patreon site.
You can see how tall Eric is to me. But yeah, you can end up, see like the idea of between us, this big guy was like, oh my God, these arms of his. Nonsense.
Is it the one with you guys in front? Are you taking a picture?
Yeah, we're
in front
taking
of
a
the
picture.
mirror?
I'm covering my face with the thing. That was the joke. I told everybody.
I've seen that one.
We're going to do that. That's just the one. Yeah, and people were saying because Eric's arms are just so nothing, and his milky skin. Yay! But yeah, he would get upset. So there you go. We're going to get out of here, and that's it for the podcast. So, there was some good books this week. I didn't love the ones we did. But
so these were mediocre. I haven't read any of the other ones. I've only read the ones where.
Yeah, there's one that we would already have talked about that is really, really good. So at least we had that. At least we got that to have. But yeah, so that's that. I'm going to go off right now and talk about what we're going to have for next week. All right, that is it for the week. Thanks everybody who joined us. Triple B, Fear Monarch Brad. Triple B, then Brad. I meant Fear Monarch and Gray, and then me and you. I'm going to thank myself and also Matt, who's here for the outro. With that, remember next week's show will be Patreon only, which means there's no bonus show. The whole thing's a bonus show. And so Stork will say, what's it called?
Pretty low, Jim
is what he'll say. And it is. So, yeah, if you want to listen to next week's show, just join up on the Patreon, patreon.com/weirdscience for as little as $1 for the month. And then if you want to get more shows, and including the bonus show, just go up a couple levels, up all the way to the badass level where you can pick what is on the bonus show. But the books for next week, it's an odd play. It's not really an annual.
It's very odd because it's also free comic book day, too. So, right?
Yeah, you just got sued. You told me you're not allowed to say that. It's
I did.
Come get your comics things for not a price. That's what I call it. Yeah, what did they call it? Like DC
comic book giveaway.
Yeah, comic book giveaway day. Comics giveaway day.
Comics giveaway.
It doesn't.
AKA the awkward time you go to your comic book store and try to get stuff for free without buying anything.
Yeah. Or you go with your kids and the guy's a dick to your kids, so you slam everything down and leave. That's what I did.
Yes.
But I don't know. DC's free comic book day stuff is not great. It's like a bunch of like, hey, did you read this? If you didn't catch up.
Next level sampler?
Yeah, and there's just like samplers of the new number one.
Sonic the Hedgehog thing?
Yeah, we all. Marvel is kind of event previews, and they always do it. But that's what DC usually does as well. I also see that Skin Breaker number 8 comes out next week. But we're not doing that here. But you're a big fan. But let me get this set up. I'm trying to get this stupid stuff. Here we go. This is the book set. Satana number 1. So we have more of those new books. This is Jamal Campbell. I guess you get rewarded for doing shit because that book sucked. That book was unreadable at points, but it looked good. It didn't read well. I'll tell you, Jamal Campbell, as a writer, is a good artist. That's my note there. The opposite of Jeff Lemire, by the way. We also have Batman Wonder Woman Truth number 1. They've been pushing that in the preview on the back of the issues this week, and I think last week as well. I've avoided. I don't know why, but when I saw it, you said Jim Chung is on art, but it does ape a bit of Jim Lee's art.
Yes.
And then it just reminds me of Hush 2, and I don't want to read that shit. And luckily, I won't have to for years, it seems, because they're never going to get that done. Jim Lee's sick now, he says. He's pre-diabetic. It's like almost like I'm pre-dead. It's like every day.
Same thing. Yeah.
I don't want to shame the guy or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. My dad was diabetic. He still went to his job. I don't know. That was huge. Jim Lee looks like he's in good shape. He can get around. I think you said that you think he wanted to retire, but his wife is cracking the whip because he has like 80 kids. They're all doing expensive shit.
Expensive hobbies.
Yeah, you can't quit.
Marriages.
There you go. He doesn't want to say the idea of
listen, colleges.
Listen, my wife is, I meet these kids, one after the other. I'm going here and there, equestrian bullshit, and I'm at a wedding. So he's like, I'm pre-diabetic. Nobody will make fun of me about that. He doesn't know us. Pre-diabetic. He's there eating a fucking whatchamacallit bar while he's doing his doodles. Guy, I don't know what he really does.
Yeah, I don't know. Honorary DC something.
I know that at one point he was like on Twitch or something, always doodling.
They basically bought him so that he wouldn't draw X-Men stuff anymore, I think is what.
Yeah,
DC just eliminated him from Marvel.
And even then, how long has he been working at DC? By this point, he'd have
longer than he ever has.
He'd have 3 X-Men issues done by now. That's it. They would have been like, that's not going on. Maybe what he needs to do is put down the Snickers bar and finish that All-Star Batman and Robin. That'd be a hoot. We need more of that.
I would love to see that.
That'd be hilarious. The thing is, it would be so great if they finished that because it'd be awful. But it'd be the sort of awful that would make us laugh so much, and it would sell out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really good. But we also have Swamp Thing 1989, #1. That is the Rick Vike deal, the legendary lost issues that involve Jesus, a bunch of things. Simon and me decided we're going to at least do 1 issue. It's actually pretty cool that it comes out the annuals week here, so we could just kind of go through it. If we like it, we'll continue. If people like it, whatnot. Simon, he's a big fan. He's a big fan of the deal. And who was it? Jeff Lemire that he was really glazing last week, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
I mean, I said, what do you do, Simon, when you think of Jeff Lemire?
And I'm going to jerk myself off the entire time.
That's what he does also, every time.
And Paul Jenkins, too, the guy that does the Century.
How about Paul Jenkins? What do you do when you think of him?
And I'm going to jerk myself off the entire time.
Oh, that's sexy.
You're going to be talking about this Swamp Thing book with him for 2 hours, dude. He's going to go deep dive on this thing.
But the thing is, though, I don't think it's oversized because it was going to be an original issue. Yeah, I ain't deep diving.
You're going to spark something in him.
The way that he talked about it, though, he said that, the way, I don't think he thinks it's going to be good. I think this one, he's like, I don't know, it's going to be a little shady. We'll see. But afterwards, I'll say, phew. That was long. What were you doing all that time?
And I'm going to jerk myself off the entire time.
That's great. Jason got that one.
Jason's he's the good at finding
I think that
those.
when he's listening to things, he just writes shit down like, okay, this episode of this thing, somehow, there's no way he could have thrown that in the X-Men.
No.
If it was you saying it, maybe. I don't know. It's like, hey, Simon, did you ever listen to the X-Men show or do something else?
And I'm going to jerk myself off the entire time.
It's great. I wish it was a little more like I could use it for a lot of things, but bad setup for it. How about you? What else are you doing there?
The guy is drunk.
The guy's drunk. Gray never heard that play-by-play with that guy because he's in Japan, I guess, or whatever. It was at a football game. I played it to him. We were getting ready to do a Usagi Yojimbo deal, and so I played it to him. It's so funny.
It's the guy that runs out on the field, right?
Oh, yeah. It's so great. And he breaks free at one point. Then he takes off his shirt. Oh, it's so good. So good. But, so we have that.
Does he know about, and boom goes the dynamite? Does he know about that?
He doesn't. They're foreign. He's in Japan. He's a British guy in Japan. He doesn't know that stuff. I don't even know if he knows what the basketball is over there. They love the baseball, though. He ended up, one of the kids that he taught, or his wife did, was in like a upper level, and they were going to go watch him play. I'm like, it's just a random teacher showing up watching. I'm like, I don't know. Also, at one point, we were recording, and one of his kids' students, I guess they might be older because he's doing English deal, but they sent him like that fucking sushi that one time we were recording. I'm like,
at the door, yeah.
Like, nobody does that with me.
You know what I had the other day?
I did get Crocs from you. I'm wearing them now.
I sent you Crocs. Yeah,
I'm wearing them.
Good.
I did say I said, you'll get this right away. But I said to Tanya, I don't know if I should wear these. It might be stolen valor. And she's like, just because they're camo? I'm like, I don't know. Somebody might think I was in like Desert Storm or something. I don't need that.
Yeah, they are desert camo. Yeah, and I had. Have you ever had fried sushi? I had that the other night.
No,
it's pretty good.
That would be good.
With Brazilian fusion sushi, and they fry it, deep fry.
That's crazy. Well, if people don't necessarily like sushi, you can eat that Korean like gimbap.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. That's actually cooked and seasoned.
It's like a log
already.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I do like sushi as itself. I do like gimbap, and they do have them at all, which is crazy. I might go get one of those when we're done. But the problem is with that, I eat it and I'm still hungry. It's a big thing, but it doesn't fill me up for some reason.
I was saying like I like sushi, but I just don't know how many I need to eat to feel like satisfied. Like I don't have that.
Sometime you're going with me and Logan to that all you can eat place. Then you'll see how much you're gonna get to a point where at the ride home you're gonna upchuck. Because at one point the whole thing, and they screw you. I think me and Logan
make
are
you
convinced.
eat it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you don't eat the whole thing, you like have to pay double.
Yep.
It's like a contest. So me and Logan always like we're gonna get that last plate, and you put how much? You get a little slip each time. So we're like, we want 2 of those, 2 and 2. Like one is like 6 rolls. It's like an order of that. So we're like, we'll get 12 rolls. Each of us will have like the it's cut. And I'm saying it's 1 roll cut into 6 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 12 pieces. We could do that. And they come back and they brought us like 40 pieces. And we're like, what the fuck? So I had Logan was running a distraction. I was shoving shit in my pocket.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
You have to disappear that shit.
And they were watching, and I'm telling Logan's the worst because he's so shy. I'm like, go up there and ask where the bathroom is or something. You got to do something. I got to get this shit in my pocket. So then Logan, just as a joke, then when we left, because we got away with it, they seemed pissed too. And when we went out, we're on the way home, and I pull a piece out of my pocket. I'm like, hey, Logan, you want some sushi? He's like, oh, man. And then I ate it, and he almost threw up. I don't know why, but he was laughing. And then he said, we have to stop. We stopped at McDonald's, and I had to empty my pockets. Yeah. Oh, it was good times. Good times. But they were watching. I was so angry at them. And I went on best sushi I've had. And even people are like, I've been to New York, and for what this is, it's in a strip mall. And it's all you can eat. It's really good. They make it there. They show. But all the reviews say you got to watch out because at the end, if they think you've eaten too much already and you ordered, like they'll jam it on, or sometimes you'll just randomly get something else with it and got to eat it. But the last book next week, Justice League Intergalactic Special #1. I wish I had the Intergalactic X-Men thing, but I have that is Nicole Maines and Jadzia Axelrod joint. And you have Travis Moore, it looks like, on art. Okay, fine. I don't know. It seems crazy. We'll have to see what's going on with it. And as I look, when you go and you think of, when you think of Jadzia Axelrod, you might think of a couple things, but poor writing might be at the top in my mind. But you would think of Hawkgirl. She wrote Hawkgirl, right? Nope. It's all about that Galaxy character that she created. That really didn't hit that well because you didn't really do much. So that's the character that's going to be on there. See her on the cover. And of course, Nicole Maines, who played Dreamer, also writes Dreamer. That Secret Six deal, I didn't think was very good. But she's written some decent stuff. I mean, this is the thing. I think with Nicole Maines, I think she's just kind of in the middle. But I'll give her credit that she just started.
Mm-hmm.
She's an actress and just started. Being in the middle is better than being at the bottom, where like somebody like a Teenie Howard kind of goes with me.
Takes a while to get into the groove.
Mariko Tamaki and things like that.
Thank God a lot of those guys are gone.
Yeah, and I think that one of the problems that Nicole Maines will have eventually and overall is they kind of only have her write Dreamer.
Yeah,
you got to write some other characters as well.
Yeah,
you got to kind of be given some other things to do, and I think she might be able to get a chance. Some people will disagree with me. Jadzia Axelrod. The only good thing about her is she likes the Eagles. Always having Eagles stuff in her deal, so that's fine. But and then I hate when people like don't cloud up the issues here. She's just not a great writer. That book, that Hawkgirl book, was awful. It was really bad. Characterization, plot, the progression. Don't muddy it up with other stuff. because then it becomes a fight and then it becomes something else. It's just, hopefully she writes better in this, because that Hawkgirl book was awful. So with that, though, that's it. We're out of here. Again, next week's episode will be Patreon only. Patreon.com/WeirdScience. As little as $1 for the whole entire month. You get to listen to that. You get to listen to Simon. Maybe jerking himself off. Who knows? That'd be sexy. That's a bonus show. That's a bonus show indeed. But if you're not going to get involved in that, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with the regular show. So thanks, Matt, for joining me for the intro, Superman, and the outro. Thanks, Triple B, for his books, and also Gray and Fearmonic. And thanks, everybody, for listening, everybody already supporting us on the Patreon. So that is it. We will talk to you all later.
Every other show sucks. That's why you're listening to us. Every other show sucks. We're the only one that isn't us. So thank you for being smart. From the bottom of our heart, thank you for being smart. 'Cause everything not us just stinks like a fart. They stink like a fart. Stinks like a fart, like a fart. They stink like a fart. Let's go! 2, 3, 4, 5. Has read comics, most of his life. 9, 8, 7, 6. Jim can really act like a shut your mouth.